NBC Sports, home of the NASCAR race for the championship. This is the Discover Card Countdown to Green as we get ready to go racing.
The Lowe's Motor Speedway is about 12 miles northeast of downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. Today, this 43-year-old track plays host to the tightest championship race in Winston Cup history. There are just 6 races remaining, so when the smoke clears in Charlotte, who will be leading the points? It is the trophy every racer wants, but suddenly this season, it seems that no one can hold on to it. Past champions, future stars, skilled veterans, each dreaming of hoisting the Winston Cup, yet fearful of the nightmare where it slips away.
Oh, hard into the wall. Sterling Marlin, a vicious crash. Problems for Jeff Gordon. Now he's coming to pit road under green.
We had a glimpse of hope for the championship, and these last 3 weeks have been horrible.
We'll see. It's been a bad place to be in leading points these days. Everybody keeps having trouble, so hopefully we can just take it and hang on.
You're in lockup on some.
You're going to have to pay it, buddy. The right front is junk.
A tough break for today's point leader.
Whoever's been leading these points has had nothing but problems, so I'm glad we don't have to worry about that voodoo doll on our backs.
In recent weeks, we have watched the best fall like the rest. The season-long hustle and muscle of racing has come down to a 6-week survival test. Now the chase and the challenge have come to Charlotte, and the championship contenders are wondering, is the Winston Cup trophy trying to lure its next victor or victim?
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot it down.
NBC Sports is live at the Lowe's Motor Speedway as the NASCAR Winston Cup Series gets ready for the UAW GM Quality 500. Today, this exciting championship race comes to one of the sport's most popular tracks. 43 drivers are in this race. 4 of them have a chance to leave here as the leader in the race for the championship. Hello everyone, I'm Bill Weber, and welcome to Charlotte, where it is raining, and it has been most of the morning. In fact, we had a pretty spectacular thunderstorm, complete with lightning, move through here between 8 and 9:30 this morning. It stopped briefly, they started to dry the track, but it is raining now. I am told that the forecast says that it will stop raining early this afternoon. When it does, we'll dry the track and then throw the green flag on the UAW GM Quality 500 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, and it should be quite a race. Now, qualifying for the second straight week was washed out by rain. That means the field is set by the NASCAR rule book. Basically, that's owners' points and past winners. So once again, the guys at the top of the championship standings are at the front of the field. For the first time since his Winston Cup career began on February 14th, 1999, Tony Stewart leads the championship chase. After the season opening Daytona 500, he was 43rd in points. Today, he is number 1 and standing by with Dave Burns.
Well, and the question, Bill, for Tony to start with is, given the fact that the points leaders have lost it along the way, do you want it right now? Do you want the point lead?
Trust me, I've ran for many championships in the past. It doesn't bother me to lead the points. If anything, it makes it a little easier now. I mean, we've raced hard to get here, and the good thing is we got 6 good races coming up at tracks that we've won at 4 of the 6, and we ran second here last year, and I think the only other track we haven't won at is Rockingham. We've run in the top 5 there in the past, so we're at a stretch of races that we always typically have run well at in the past, and just get the rain out of the way. We're going to get the Home Depot Pontiac out there. We get started in a good starting spot today, obviously, on the pole, and just try to go out there and have solid runs, and we're not changing our game plan. I mean, we raced hard and tried to win every race we've been into, and that's what's got us to this point, and we're not going to change. We're not worrying about point racing. You guys are all talking about points. I'm talking about trying to figure out how to win the last 6 races.
And that is important, going to tracks where you have the confidence, you've got the setup notes. You know you can do well in the late part of the season, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty good history. I mean, the last 3 years we've been really strong this time of the year, and there's no guarantees by any means. I mean, you look what happened last week to Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin and Jimmy Johnson, and the same kind of stuff can happen to us this week. But that's why I say we just don't worry about it. I mean, there's so much racing left to do that, it's great to be in the points lead. It's something that this Home Depot team's definitely needed, and, it's finally nice to reward them for all the hard work they've done this year and get us here. But like I say, we still got 6 races to go, so my mindset's, we got to race hard for 6 more weeks, and everybody else worry about point racing. I'm worried about winning races, so we'll see how it shakes out.
Talk about how hard they've worked this weekend. Qualifying rained out on Thursday, but you got all your practice in on Saturday. How good's the car?
Car was really good yesterday. I was really happy with it. I knew we were going to have a good car all weekend on Thursday when we were here for qualifying practice. It always seems like that if the car is good in qualifying practice, we're good all weekend. And the car's been really, really balanced. It's very, very drivable, and feel confident that I can move around the racetrack if I need to, but it's working really good around the bottom too.
And last year, almost the win, couldn't quite catch Sterling. Have you learned from last year, and you think you have an edge this year that you didn't have last year?
Well, it's a different day. I mean, the weather's different. Aero packages have changed since then. Just a lot of different variables. But, like I say, this has been a track that we've always ran well. Last fall was my best run ever here. But, we ran good in the spring here, and I feel confident we're going to have a really good day today. I mean, you never can predict exactly what's going to happen, but, I told Greg after the first run yesterday morning, I was pretty happy with my car, and all we did was just fine-tune on it all day. So pretty excited about getting racing today.
And how about the high line? You told BP yesterday you'd run the high line maybe once, maybe 2 laps just for him. Now with the track being washed down, what do you think of that?
It might take a little longer to get up there, but I'm sticking to my word. BP, I'm going to get you a couple laps up there. I don't know how productive I'll be, but I will definitely get up on the top and rim ride a couple laps like the old dirt track days.
All right, Director Mike Wells, make sure you're on Tony Stewart when he runs that high line, because it could be exciting here. It always is at Lowe's. He goes for his first win. Again, his best finish last year was second. He'll try to take it home today. To Marty Snyder.
Well, Dave, I think Mark Martin might try that high line as well here at Lowe's Motor Speedway today, but let's talk about last week first before we talk about this week's. Lost 61 points, now 72 behind. What was the final evaluation on the steering box problem that, before the race even started?
It was an assembly problem, and to make a long story short, whenever you turn the steering to the right really quick, it would lock up, and we never turned it that fast in practice. To the right. So just one of those things. Never heard of it happening. I don't understand exactly how the fluid moves in the steering box, but it would block off and lock up whenever you turn to the right real quick.
And strange in the fact that we started by points and Jimmy Johnson was on the inside of you, and you really didn't have anywhere to go. He didn't have anywhere to go. And nobody expected that.
I didn't know what. I was just in shock. I just couldn't figure out what was going on, and I almost ran into the pit wall. It's just, I'm sure he was in shock too. Unfortunately, I wasn't far enough ahead of him to pass in front of him, and I guess it could have been worse. It could have happened after the race got going or something. But you just have to take the cards you're dealt and do the best you can with them, and that's what we did with the rest of the race, and that's what we do every race, is try to minimize the damage, maximize the points, whether it's 30th place we're racing for or first place.
You talk about the cards you were dealt. The hand you had here in May was pretty awesome. This is not the car you have here this weekend that won the race in May. Why is that?
We brought 2 cars to a test here in May, and the one that I have here is the one I said that's the daytime car, and the other one I said was a nighttime car. So this one did better during the day, and the other one did a little bit better at night. Both of them were really good cars, and this is a great car, and we have a lot of confidence in it.
Let's talk about this weather and the change that it's going to have on this racetrack. Boy, we practiced in 80-degree temperature yesterday. It was hot and slick out there. Now it's going to be cooler, and the rain has washed the rubber off the track. How will that change the race, and how will that affect the race cars?
Should tighten the cars up. It should be a lot more. It could be a night race, but the way our car worked yesterday, it won't mind that. Our car gave us a fit yesterday, and so I think that the cooler it is, the better we'll be. We may have to undo some of the things that we did to the car to try to make it good in the sun and the 80-degree weather, but we should have a good long-run car. Certainly when the green flag comes out, we won't charge to the front and run and hide, I don't think. But I think as the race wears on, in typical fashion of Ben Leslie's cars and this team's cars and the setups that it should get stronger as we go.
In terms of the championship, you and I were just talking about it. Do you guys feel like that you have to have a mistake-free rest of the season in order to win this championship, Mark?
Well, we've had, in the last 3 races, we've had 2 devastating problems, neither of which we really felt we had any control over. So those are the things that put you out. I've said all along, it isn't your good races that will determine the championship. It's the bad races. And we were leading before we got into those bad races. So obviously, I still say that will be the determining factor as, everybody in the top 8 in points or top 10, where they finish will be determined by their bad races.
And there you go. And he's trying to have a good race here this weekend. Been looking forward to this race since May. There's only been 5 sweeps, a season sweep in the 42-year history of this track. Mark Martin trying to pull off number 6. Matt Yoakum.
Mark Martin won the race back in May, but the guy who had the dominant race car and led 263 laps is Jimmy Johnson. You finished 7th. You've had been looking forward to this event for a long time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously we had a great race car, and then being in the Lowe's Monte Carlo, racing at Lowe's Motor Speedway, there's a lot of neat things that come with that. This is the first place I saw, I guess, not the first place I saw Winston Cup race, but one of the very first places I saw, and I've always been in love with the track. Love driving on it, and looking forward to a good race. We led a lot last time, but made a small mistake. Got my pit road procedures under control now, and hopefully we can lead the last one this time.
Now let's go back and talk about Talladega. I mean, that had to have been such a shocker. You're on the pace lap, and wham, the 6 car hit you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still amazed and surprised at everything that had happened to us there. And I was looking down, making sure that my lap belt was tight and going over the last check on my safety gear because we're coming to get 1 to go. And had my knee on the steering wheel, holding the wheel and tightening my belt. And I get hit, and at first I thought maybe I drifted up into Mark, and when I looked up and I saw we were in the grass, I knew we had other problems. But just a wild and crazy deal. But our day got, we had a bunch of little things going wrong, so hopefully we got all of our bad luck out on that one day, and these last 6 will be in good shape.
Now you're dropped to 82 markers out of first. Now, is the strategy now to wait until the season finale to try to take the points lead? Because it seems like whoever gets it gets some voodoo.
We're going to try to get it back this weekend, or today here at this race. But it seems like whoever has been leading the points has had some bad luck on their side. We wanted to be the team to break that bad luck and carry it on out through the end. But this is racing. Crazy things happen. And I know with the guys that I have on this Lowe's team and the pit stops we're going to have, the equipment I'm in, the calls Chad's going to make, we're going to be in good shape and be a threat all the way through this.
Now you can hear in your voice, and you sound like you're stuffed up, battling allergies.
Yeah, they're killing me today. Late last night, they started to bother me, and they've been really acting up today. So looking forward to getting into the car so I can think about something else besides my nose.
Now, I know you're looking forward to the season finale at Homestead because right after that, Jeff and Jimmy are going on their European vacation to do more racing.
Yeah, I get it. If one of us wins the championship, unfortunately, with the duties you have, then you won't be able to go to Spain for this World Rally race we're going to be involved in. But there's a race over there that's called the Nations Cup. They take a 2-wheeled rider, a dirt driver, and an asphalt driver to run in a variety of different rally-type cars on a closed course. And then the big prize at the end of the weekend is you get to drive the World Rally car. So I'm really looking forward to that with all the dirt background that I have. I haven't been in a 4-wheel drive before, so looking forward to it.
You're testing for that coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think we're going to test a car out in Phoenix, get a feel for it. I don't believe it's going to be a World Rally car, but something close to it, and let us get used to 4-wheel drive and sliding around.
Now, looking at Charlotte, qualifying on Thursday, your tradition of Friday the 13th for qualifying, it went back to Thursday, but you guys have dialed that race car back in. High hopes for today.
Very high hopes. Our qualifying practice speeds weren't where we thought they were going to be. We came with a little different setup, switched everything back over to where we sat on the pole here with in the spring, and still didn't have the speed. And I'm not really sure what was going on, but we went into race trim, put the car back just how it was in the 600, and actually a little faster than what we were in happy hour and comparing notes. So hopefully we've got a little bit better car than what we had in the 600, and that should mean good things for us.
Well, besides chasing the Winston Cup Championship as a rookie, he's also chasing a mark set by Tony Stewart. 3 wins already this season. A 4th will be a modern era record for a rookie to make a trip to victory lane. Dave?
Well, you've met the first 3 guys in the championship chase. Ryan Newman is the 4th. He is only 137 markers out of the top spot. He can still win it, but he had an interesting start to his weekend on Saturday when his car got out from underneath him over in the 3rd turn. And Ryan, that is where we will begin. First of all, what happened with the car that it got away from you like that?
It just jumped out. I mean, there's a few bumps over there on entry to 3, and I think I had just a little bit too much rear brake bias in there, and it just got out from underneath me. And as you saw, once it started going, there was no catching it. And it's happened here before. A lot of guys have problems down there, and it's just it's tough. Once you try to get a car running so good and so fast, once it goes, it's gone.
The crews are known for having a backup car that can just roll out and immediately put you on the track the same way you were. How close were you when you put the backup out there, and how hard did they have to work to get you back in race mode?
Well, it was basically a sister car we rolled off. That was PRS 045, which is known as Daisy from winning the Winston, which we didn't want to give up. But this one's PRS 46, so they're sister cars. Hopefully everything will work the same way. We changed the setup a little bit, trying to make it so that didn't happen again. And we'll just have to see how things go. The track's going to be different, the conditions are different, and obviously we don't start from where we wanted to. And it'll be a hard race for the first part. Hopefully we can get ourselves up in a good track position.
I was listening to your radio when you guys started doing that, talking with Matt occasionally, trying not to distract him, but it wasn't fast immediately, was it?
No, we had to work on it a little bit, and we expect that. And not every car, the cars are built by humans, they're not all the same, but the closer they are, the better when it comes to rolling a backup off. And we've done this before. We did it at Darlington, came back and finished 5th. So hopefully we can have a little better day than that.
Okay, the last time we had some rain, I believe, on this circuit, you ended up winning the race. So do you see rain as any possibility of giving you a little bit of luck here at Lowe's this weekend?
I've been better at post-race rain than pre-race rain, so we'll have to see how things go. But, it's a good thing about Charlotte. I guess they got lights here, and we know how to run into the night here in Charlotte. So we'll see how things go.
I want to ask you about finishing second 4 times before you got that win, once since. But the 4 times finishing second, Ryan, what did that do to you as a competitor? Did it make you more hungry for the win? Did it distract you because you almost won 4 times? What did that do?
It just let us know that we were that close, and all we had to do was get 1 spot better, and that's a whole lot better than 5 or 10 spots. So it was good for the team to be able to run that good. In the back of your mind, it tries to get frustrating, but at the same time, like I said, I'd rather finish second than third. So, it was just a deal where we had to keep working at it, and hopefully we got the brakes in the right direction and created our own win.
Well, Ryan, of course, is a rookie on the circuit this year. His whole team is relatively young, and as he said, finishing second like that can give them a boost, and they eventually did win at New Hampshire. He hopes for the same here when we get going at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Bill?
Thanks, Dave, and that's correct. Ryan Newman did finally get his first career Winston Cup win in the rain at New Hampshire back on September 15th, just a little under a month ago, and looking to go back to victory lane at a track where he has shown he can be pretty stout when they finally put out the green flag. It is raining here at Charlotte right now, actually in Concord, North Carolina, waiting for the rain to stop. Then we'll dry the track and go racing with the Winston Cup Series. 33-year-old Eric Martin lost his life at this track on Wednesday while practicing for an ARCA event. Martin lost control of his car near the exit of turn 4. It spun and backed into the wall. 8 seconds after the car had come to a stop, it was hit directly in the driver's side door by Deborah Renshaw, who was still traveling near full speed, approximately 160 miles per hour. Martin was killed instantly. Renshaw suffered numerous foot and ankle injuries. 2 important questions are being asked because of the circumstances surrounding this crash. 1, why aren't spotters, a crewman that stands above the track and watches looking for trouble for his driver, provided an unobstructed view? And 2, why didn't Renshaw slow down when the flashing yellow caution lights came on around the track? Renshaw was attempting to make her 6th ARCA start. ARCA is a separate sanctioning body from NASCAR, but NASCAR has reacted to this accident with a rule change. NASCAR had not required spotters for the Winston Cup Series or the Busch Series practice sessions, but beginning next week, both the Busch teams and Winston Cup teams have been told that a spotter will be required when the Winston Cup cars are on the track, and that attendance is mandatory, and NASCAR will take attendance to make sure every team has a spotter in place. Eric Martin was a rookie. He made 18 career starts in the ARCA Series. His funeral was yesterday. He is survived by his wife Tammy and their 2 children.
NASCAR on NBC is live at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, where the UAW GM Quality 500 is finally moments from getting underway. Let's go trackside for today's opening ceremony.
Let us pray. As a promoter, says Humpy Wheeler, I'm attempting to take our black and white lives and fill them with Technicolor for 3 or 4 hours. O Lord, we thank you for the excitement of this day. Protect us. Amen.
Our anthem singer today was recently crowned Miss North Carolina. Here with the national anthem, please welcome Rebecca Revels.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red clear, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And race fans, the time has finally arrived to bring us the most famous words in motorsports for the UAW GM Quality 500. Please welcome John Buttermore, Vice President for Labor Relations for GM North America.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
45 minutes delayed by rain, but thanks for sticking with us. We're going to see the green flag from Charlotte next on NBC.
NBC's coverage of the UAW GM Quality 500 is brought to you by Autotrader.com. Sell your car fast on the ultimate automotive classified site. By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Yamaha, makers of fine motorcycles and ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. By Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by Walmart, always low prices, always.
Getting set to roll the field of 43 in today's UAW GM Quality 500 live from Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. Delayed 2 hours, 45 minutes by rain, but now they're about to head off onto the track and begin the parade and pace laps. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, proud to sponsor the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier in each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Qualifying was rained out here Thursday and Friday, so you see the Bud Pole Award standings for the season so far. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Now the Walmart starting grid for today's race. Field lined up according to provisions in the NASCAR rulebook as the B-52 bomber goes screaming overhead. Tony Stewart, first in owner points, is on the front row with Mark Martin. It's basically owner points through the first 35, then former winners, and then number of qualifying attempts.
Jimmy Johnson will start third. Jamie McMurray will still start fifth. His first race in the NASCAR Winston Cup car here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Jeff Gordon, four-time winner here in Charlotte, but has not finished the race 3 times in the last 5 weeks. He's in row 4.
On the inside of row 5, Bill Elliott and Ricky Rudd on the outside. Both still aspirations of winning a championship.
Kurt Busch, one of the hottest drivers of late. 5 top 7 finishes the last 7 weeks. He's with Dale Jarrett in row 6.
And on the inside of row 7, Dale Earnhardt Jr., a local favorite. Grew up about 20 miles from here. And on the outside, Jeff Burton. Let's see what Jeff Burton has to think. Hey, Jeff, Benny Parsons, you got me?
BP, I got you.
Okay, yesterday you absolutely dominated the 300-mile event. Weather's changed. What about your chances today?
You're exactly right. This is we haven't run in these conditions at all this week, so we don't really know. But yesterday our car felt really, really good. Wasn't as fast as some other cars, but it drove real well. And been very few times in my career where I said my car drove well that we didn't run well. So we feel pretty good about it.
Did you make any changes on this race car based on your performance yesterday?
Made some changes on this car based on the weather change, not so much based on what we saw yesterday. The track got real slick yesterday when the sun came out, and I don't think we're going to have any of that today. We got night racing conditions now, so we looked at all of our notes and talked about what the difference is from day to night and made some changes based on that.
Looking at the racetrack, Jeff, are we pretty ready to go green?
Still wet up by the walls here on the front straightaway, and entering one, it looks like to me it's still a little wet up high, but other than that, it looks okay.
Good luck to you.
Jeff Burton going to start 14th today as you look at the rest of the field for the 500-miler. Got one car stopped on the apron down in turn 4, but he's gotten it going now.
And Jerry Nadeau, what a tough break he caught in the Georgia Pacific car. He was the fastest car in practice, was on the pole Thursday night. 10 or 19 cars qualified, and then it rained, it washed it out. They had to go back, revert back to the points, and he goes from first to 39th.
Long list of drivers who failed to qualify for this race, including Kerry Earnhardt, Ron Hornaday. Not able to make the show, didn't get a chance to because they didn't get the full qualifying session in. Now, 2 cars are going to have to go to the back on these pace laps. Ryan Newman, because he's in a backup car, and also the 49 of Stacy Compton, although he was scheduled to start 42nd anyway. Let's get some updates from pit road before the green. Matt Yoakum.
Alan, back in May, it was a 1-2 Roush Racing finish. Today, Rusty Wallace would like to make it a 1-2 Penske Racing finish with teammate rookie Ryan Newman. His car has been fast all week, and he will start 6th. The win today would break a 56-race winless streak dating back to California last year, and it would also keep alive his impressive consecutive streak of years of winning in Winston Cup. A win today would make for 17 straight years. Look for the 2 car today, Dave.
Matt, Jeff Gordon finished 5th here in May, but fans, don't worry about that, because if you run well at Lowe's Motor Speedway, you remember how to run well, and Jeff has won here 4 times. Not only that, in 16 of his 19 starts here, he's led at least 1 lap. Expect to see the 24 car at the front before the day's over. Marty?
Dave, this is a critical race for Matt Kenseth and his DeWalt team today. They are 201 points behind in 6th place in the race for the championship. And while that is a big hill to climb, they know it's a big task, but it has to happen tonight. They must win this race. They must make a charge this evening and gain some points on the leaders if they are going to win their first ever championship. Bill?
Well, as Ryan Newman told us, he had to drop to the back of the field because he lost a car here in practice. They had a momentary scare on pit road after the command to fire the engines. An electrical glitch was affecting a radiator fan. They have fixed that, sent him out, and he drops to the rear of the field. Ryan has very quietly become a NASCAR Winston Cup star, and the emphasis is on the word quiet. He speaks very softly, but he drives hard. He's just 24 years old, has some fancy engineering degree from Purdue. Right now, his focus is not just on winning, it's on winning the Winston Cup. Alan?
Be fun to watch Ryan try and come from the back of the field today. Ryan 4th in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. You see how tight the standings are. Any one of those first 4 could lead when we leave Charlotte today and head to Martinsville, Virginia next week.
And Ricky Rudd, in one of our interviews while we were waiting the rain out, talked about everyone. They said that it's an 8-man race, and I'm only a few points behind 8th place, so I feel like I'm in the championship hunt.
Drastically different conditions than what you raced under in the NASCAR Busch Series event yesterday, Wally.
Yeah, quite a bit. I don't know what the track temperature was yesterday, but the track was awfully hot, a lot more so than today with the cloud cover. But like I said, if it stays like this, it'll stay consistent. It'll be a lot easier to get your car dialed in because the track won't change as much if the temperature's, pretty close to what it is right now.
Now, what's going to happen when the field comes off turn 4 this time is they're going to get the green flag, but the caution flag will stay out as well. So the race is going to officially begin here, but because, as you heard Jeff Burton say, there are some areas up at the top of the track still a little bit damp. All right, they're going to do that in another lap, I understand, the green flag. But they're going to get the green and yellow at the same time to try and dry out those areas right along the retaining wall that are still damp.
Yeah, especially coming out of turn 4, you run up right against the wall. In fact, I ran into the wall about 3 times yesterday coming off a 4. So you really need to get a little bit better there before you can start this race.
You know, we talked about the crews and different things they might have to do to their cars to deal with the change in the hot conditions from yesterday to the overcast today. Drivers had to deal with some things too.
Yeah, it's dark out there right now, and if you have a dark visor, it's difficult to see. So you see Dale Jr. here, or somebody from Dale Jr.'s crew, putting on a clear visor where you can see he had the dark visor on. And I went the other direction because when we were racing, it got sunny out, and I put a dark visor on. I had a clear visor, so it's good to see here.
It is good to see. It's awfully good to see. Matt, Wally was talking about yesterday. Do you remember what the track temperature was yesterday?
Well, Benny, a few moments ago, we got the track temperature down on pit road. It was 77.7. Now, yesterday, at the start of the first practice session in the morning, the track temperature was 78.7. So it's very close to the first session. So teams have a lot of information they can go back on. They've built in a lot of adjustability today. They know the 78 range, which is what the first practice session was, the happy hour, which was in the mid-90s. So they have a lot of information they can go back on. So if it does indeed get hot and the sun comes out, you know, in a little while here, they'll have a lot of information they can go back on.
So it's probably over 100 degrees when you were out there yesterday, Wally.
Yeah, yep.
Slickery.
So it was slickery.
I'm told 119 degrees yesterday.
119 degrees track temperature. So that makes a big difference, as you know, Benny. This place changes when it gets hotter, and even you've been here when you've raced here and it's been sunny, and then the clouds come in, and it changes the handling of the car because the temperature of the racetrack changes.
All right, here they come to the green and yellow flags. So the first of today's 334 laps is now underway, and the UAW GM Quality 500 has officially begun.
He kind of got chipped there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Flag waiver.
Well, maybe he'll stay up there, and when they take the caution flag and wave the green flag for real, he can do that.
That'd only be fair.
I can't imagine a greater thrill besides getting out and driving a race car than standing on that flag stand when the field comes by at the start.
That'd be a thrill for everybody to see you drive a race car, Alan.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Tony Stewart gets a break because now the next time by will be credited with leading the lap, get 5 bonus points, and as close as this championship is right now, 5 points are critical.
Benny calls the race.
NASCAR Benny. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Weather has held the crowd down somewhat. Some folks who had tickets obviously have chosen to sit at home and watch, but it'll still be about 100,000 here today, and great crowd to watch. Yesterday, pretty good sized crowd watched Jeff Burton whip the NASCAR Busch Series field as we check our Busch Series update.
And did he ever? Only 3 cars finished on the lead lap yesterday in the Busch race.
By the way, our man Wally finished 7th in that one. Nice run. See Greg Biffle leading Jason Keller by 168 points. They race in Memphis, Tennessee this coming Saturday. You'll see it on NBC. Craftsman Truck Series update.
Great battle going between Mike Bliss, the leader, Rick Crawford, 2nd spot for the championship, and Ted Musgrave still very in the hunt. Very much in the hunt.
So you're a driver and you're in one of these cars, and you know you can still see a couple of damp spots up by the wall on the track. What's your thought process? What are you telling your crew chief, your spotter, to tell NASCAR?
Well, if I'm on the outside, I'm telling them, hey, it's really wet up here against the wall. You know, if you're on the bottom groove, it looks pretty good, but it's really getting off of 4 is the tricky place, because you get off of 4, you get right up against that wall, and if you hit that damp spot, you are going to be in the wall.
I'm just surprised that see Stacy Compton in the 49 car on the apron of the racetrack trying to get to pit road. I'm surprised they don't have some of the jet drivers out now trying to dry those spots off as the cars go around the racetrack.
I am too, Benny. Also, I don't know, that last time by, I didn't see a whole lot of guys running up in that wet area against the wall.
The guys in the outside lane taking their cars up there to help out.
Right. Yeah. Well, watch here as they come off before. You see that area right up along the wall there is where your car drifts. You see a couple of them getting up there now.
There they go. And Buster Otten, the pace car driver, led him up there too.
He was definitely the highest one of the bunch. There's no doubt about that.
All right, let's make another run through pit road. Let's not, because we just got word they're going to go 3 to go in 3 more laps. So let's take a break here. We'll come back for the start, the real start. and pick up some full-speed green flag action at Charlotte. Thanks for hanging with us. Going to see the start of the UAW GM Quality 500 in just moments here on NBC. Here's the Wendy's race menu as we continue to follow the race for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship on NBC and TNT. Short track in Martinsville, Virginia next Sunday. That'll be some fun. Then the high-speed 1.5 mile in Atlanta, Rockingham, North Carolina, and out to the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix. All coming up over the next 4 weeks. NBC and TNT. We are coming to a full green flag.
Good. Very good.
NASCAR Race Control passing word to the teams to tighten up the field and have a good formation start. Lights are off on top of the pace car. We're about to complete lap number 5. 329 to go, and much to the delight of a large crowd here in Charlotte today, the green flag's about to fly on the UAW GM Quality 500. Mark Martin slipping back in the outside lane. Probably being a little careful.
Sound like a good plan to me.
Here's where these guys have to be careful. Getting out of 4. Right there. See, that's real damp right there. Another thing you don't want to do is clip the grass, Benny. You see guys do that during the race. Today, you do not want to clip that grass because it is very wet down there.
Yeah, that's not grass. That's mud primarily.
I hate to see anybody that gets in there today. Stacy Compton, the 49 car, saw him come to pit road in the pace laps, or actually the green and yellow flag period. Clutch and bell housing problems on that car. It's back in the garage. This is 4th place we're watching. Jamie McMurray to the inside of Mark Martin. Tony Stewart leads, Jimmy Johnson is 2nd, and Rusty Wallace is 3rd.
This is a great battle going on between Mark and Jamie McMurray. Well, looks like McMurray finally settles it. Here comes Kempton by Mark. Jeff Gordon's going to try it. Well, looks like he's going by as well.
Jamie McMurray driving that 40 car, 26-year-old from Joplin, Missouri. Had been signed by Chip Ganassi team to run their 3rd entry next year, but with the season-ending injury to Sterling Marlin suffered a couple of weeks ago, he's gotten a head start on his Winston Cup rookie apprenticeship. I almost said Wookiee apprenticeship.
Wookiee.
That wouldn't be good. Star Wars. He's hanging right in there. 2nd ever Winston Cup start for McMurray.
Dale Jarrett, the UPS car up on the outside. And here's a car that was very, very fast yesterday, the 32 car of Ricky Craven.
Finished 3rd here in the spring race, the Coca-Cola 600 on Memorial Weekend. Craven
moved into the 12th position after starting 16th. 3 wide in turn 1. Well, 2 wide. That was a 29 car, Kevin Harvick, that dove down and went by both these cars of Jeff Burton and Dale Jarrett.
And that puts Harvick up to 13th BP. Just behind him, Jeff Burton is inside of Dale Jarrett. That's Burton in the 99.
Right now, it looks like the low groove is definitely better through 1 and 2. Up in 3 and 4, it's pretty even, but 1 and 2, it looks like there's a lot of cars that are a little bit loose up there once they get in the high line.
Dale Jarrett kind of hung up in that outside lane, is getting freight trained. They're just all hooked together and running right underneath him.
That car on the outside of the 77, I think, is John Andretti.
No, that would be Jeff Green.
Jeff Green, the 30 car.
Ooh, 3 wide. Look at this.
Not
Jarrett's
good.
in the middle.
I don't want to be there.
Now they're going 4 wide. As here comes Robbie Gordon in the 31 car.
You know Robbie was going to put it 4 wide.
Find a hole. Blaney slides up between Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett.
Those guys got boxed up coming off of 2, and Robbie had a good run and passed at least 2 cars there.
Terry Labonte has a terrific run going today.
Tell you what, Jarrett's lost a lot of spots. He started 12th. Last time across the stripe, he was in 21st. So he has really slipped on the start.
And about to lose more positions.
Up ahead of these guys, both Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon have gotten through Jamie McMurray. And here's Dale Jr. looking to the outside of Bill Elliott.
I started to say something was wrong with Bill's car, but he eased up to let these guys go down in the corner and not make them go in there two on the outside, two abreast.
Well, one thing too, Benny, if you get off of 4 and you slip a little bit off of 4, you lose a lot of momentum, and that could have happened with those two cars passing down the straightaway.
Everybody, without exception, that I talked to in the garage this morning. One of the Sunday morning things when you walk around the garage, you pick people's brains about who they thought in last practice had a strong car. Everybody mentioned that 8 car this morning.
And when you talk to Tony, hey, the 48 car is not a slouch, because guess what? He is closed up on the back bumper of Tony Stewart.
Sponsor wars.
We've got a battle of the hardware stores going on in turn 1.
Well, the 20 car looks like it got in better.
First and third place drivers in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. Running first and second in the early laps here. Stewart never won here before, though he did finish second in this race 1 year ago. Jimmy Johnson dominated the Coca-Cola 600 in May, led 263 of 400 laps, and he's going to go to the point early. So Stewart gives way, and Johnson becomes the second different driver to lead the UAW GM Quality 500. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
NBC's coverage of the UAW GM Quality 500 is brought to you by UAW GM, assembly line to finish line, teamwork wins. By Viagra, ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, Lowe's, improving home improvement. And by UPS, official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
A sponsor's dream, Jimmy Johnson in the Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse Chevrolet, leading at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Probably can make it better if he won the race, but we're a long way from settling that. Just joining us, some 3 hours delayed by rain. We are just underway, only 23 laps complete. Here's our Old Navy race fact, and this one surprised me. Dale Earnhardt was the only driver to lose the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship lead in Charlotte's fall race. He had led Rusty Wallace by 75 points coming into the day. He finished last with a broken camshaft. Rusty took over the lead with an 8th place finish and went on to score the championship. 1989.
Speaking of Rusty, Rusty's coming.
Yes, he is. We see him there right behind Tony Stewart. And it looks like that right now that Stewart and Rusty both are maintaining the distance between Jimmy Johnson and themselves.
Boy, Tony's car gets in the corner really good, but picks up a push, it looks like, as soon as he gets on the throttle.
Let's slip back a little bit, watch the race for 12th place. Ricky Craven in the 32, trying to hold off Jeff Burton in the 99.
Now, Jeff told me yesterday when I asked him about his Winston Cup car, he said it wasn't really fast, but he says this car just maintains its speed. Every single lap is clicked off the same lap time. So he was pretty confident a lot of cars were going to come back to him.
Check the right side of that 99 car. I think he nicked the wall just a couple laps earlier in the race. Let's check it out.
Well, nicking the wall is not too bad. Comes off the corner, and yeah, he nicked it. That's not too bad, is it, Waller?
He can hit it harder than that.
Oh, yeah.
You did yesterday, 3 times. Let's look forward. Jamie McMurray in the 40 trying to hold off Kurt Busch. That is the 97 car. A different look to it this week. And I like the yellow. Just when you're used to seeing the black, it takes a minute to get used to.
I talked to Jimmy Finney, the crew chief for Kurt Busch this morning in the garage area, and seemed to be very confident about their car and how well it was going to do today.
And that's the key right there, getting over those bumps. And boy, Kurt Busch's car looked really good. Stayed on the bottom there. But it's so important to get your car to get over those bumps, especially after you wear the tires and you burn off the fuel.
Rusty Wallace moves into second spot. Keeps Tony back to third.
Back in black this weekend for Rusty Wallace. The old black paint scheme that he had so much success with in the mid-90s.
Tony, as he said yesterday, is keeping that car right on the bottom of the racetrack all the way around.
NASCAR Winston Cup Manufacturers Championship with 6 races to go. That one is pretty close, too.
Chevrolet only 19 points back. Both Ford and Chevrolet, 10 victories.
And how that works, the manufacturers get points based on the finishing position of their highest car in the race.
Watch Rusty goes in the corner, has been letting the car drift up. Hey, that's the highest I've ever seen Tony in this corner.
Well, I think Rusty went up there the lap before, and Tony was down low. I think he's thinking about what you guys talked about.
Yeah.
He said he'd do it once or twice.
Yeah, maybe he's paying his debt. I don't know if you heard about that BP was all over him about the fact that he never runs the high line. He loves to hug that white line, and Tony said he'd run a couple laps up high just to get Benny off his back.
I think he did that because Rusty had passed him, and he was trying to follow the line that Rusty was running.
Yeah, that's what you do when you get past. If a guy's running a different line, the first thing you do is go, I'm going to try to run where he runs. And then if you can, you stay there. But if not, you go right back down to where you think your car is going to be working the best. And Tony just likes to run the bottom. And usually if he gets a car to work on the bottom, he's pretty tough to beat.
The drivers work with the spotters, with the crew chief. They give them the lap time, and they can move around on the racetrack. And when they give them the lap time, they say, okay, that was better, so now I need to try that again.
To me, it just looks like Tony's car's a little bit tight right now, which means it's not turning. It's not turning from the middle off.
Be interesting to see when these guys get to the first pit stops. We've talked about how sensitive this track and the car's handling is to the temperature. How many adjustments we see made on that first set of pit stops, especially if they come under caution.
I would imagine every car will make some type of adjustment. But they can make adjustments by just simply changing the air pressure in the tire. So if they do that, that's the simplest thing they can do.
And takes less time during a green flag pit stop if that's what it comes to.
One of the things NASCAR is always telling the drivers in their driver's briefing 2 hours before the green flag in each race is use your hand signals.
Yeah, you see Tony stick his hand out, telling Rusty, go ahead, get down on the low side, I'm going to give it to you. And this early in the race, probably the smart thing to do.
And also leading the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings is the smart thing to do.
Jimmy Johnson is leading this race. He's opened up an advantage on Rusty Wallace at 2.1 seconds, 33 laps about to be completed.
It's what we've been waiting for. Green flag racing at the Lowe's Motor Speedway opening laps of the UAW GM Quality 500. A long rain delay, but finally the green flag flew, and now we are underway. And at the front of this field is Jimmy Johnson, the rookie who's hoping to recapture the lead in the championship standings. Had it, lost it, now wants it back. Early in this race, he gave his team the silent treatment. That's not a bad thing. He was just busy driving, trying to get to the front. He did. Then finally opened the radio, and here's the conversation.
More on entry than anything, Chad. Just a little tight in or right before the center. This looks like it's okay, though.
You may not want to change the thing you're doing, bud, but the next 3 cars behind you here are running the second groove up there, and 3 and 4.
4, bud, thanks.
So the driver tells the crew how the car is handling. The crew, including the spotter, tells them where the other guys are running. This is one driver, but a team sport. Right now, the team out front, the Lowe's Chevrolet, driven by rookie Jimmy Johnson. Let's take you through the field, and let's start with the car that's number 2, running number 2. Dave Burns.
And that is Rusty Wallace. Bill, his car is a favorite one called Mad Max, but this is not it. They actually made a car, this is car 54, that's a little bit less sleek than their favorite Mad Max, more of a downforce car, and they've been very happy with it here this weekend. Rusty reports right now the car is just a little bit tight from the center off, but not a lot. Marty?
Well, Dave, Jeff Gordon is running in third right now. He started 6th. The car is pretty good getting in, he says. Getting a little bit tighter off of the corner. That's their only concern, but he's turning some pretty fast laps. Not as fast as the car that he owns, the one Jimmy Johnson's driving out front, but pretty close to what Rusty Wallace is turning. Bill?
Well, Tony Stewart is the Winston Cup point leader coming into this race. Started on the pole, ran out front in the early laps, but the car has gotten a little tight, as Wally Goloback had speculated just a few laps ago. It's a little tight on the exit, so when Todd Foster puts on that left rear tire next time, it's going to have a little less air in it. Right behind him, the 17 of Matt Kenseth. He has said the car is pretty good so far, maybe just a little tight. Matt's first Winston Cup win came at this track. He'd like to get another. He's got 4 wins this season, Matt.
Bill Kerbush knows if not for an engine failure back in May, he could have helped make it a 1-2-3 Roush finish. He started 11th today. He's climbed up to 6th, but he says his race car is a little loose. It's a weird loose. He's going to show patience and ride right where he is now in the 6th position, Dave.
Last week, Jamie McMurray survived treacherous Talladega, finishing 26th, but he said Lowe's Motor Speedway is a track that makes me nervous. Right now, his car is just a little bit loose in the center, and perhaps he's nervous because this particular car won here last year at the hands of Sterling Marlin. Bill?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking for 2 wins in a row. Went to victory lane last week at Talladega. Currently running 8th on the track here. His car is just a little loose. That's the only conversation so far. Although when this race went green-yellow for the first early laps, he radioed in, no adjustments, this car's perfect. I can run anywhere I want. Of course, they were only doing about 65 miles an hour at the time. Best line from Bill Elliott so far, the number 9 car running in 9th. It's too early to be racing like that. That was in the early laps when guys were scrambling at the front of the field. Right now, Elliott's car tight in the center. Matt?
Martin started in the 2nd position. He's faded back to 10th. Back on lap 14, he said the car was tight, especially when he got on the gas. Then on lap 25, he says the car is really, really bad tight. He's just going to try to hang on until his first pit stop, trying to sweep Charlotte's races in 2002. Alan?
Jimmy Johnson has led this race since lap 17. We're at lap 47 now. He's out in front of Rusty Wallace by 2.6 seconds. He's caught the tail end of the field and has put up to 35th place Robbie Gordon 1 lap down. Let's keep going through the field. Dave, how about Jeff Burton?
Alan, he's got 2 wins here at Lowe's, but earlier in the race we saw that he nicked the wall. Perhaps that's because the only pre-race change they made to the car to adjust for the weather was to put a rubber in the right rear of the car. That will put some more weight to that tire and does make your car a little bit loose coming off the corners. Matt?
The 32 of Ricky Craven rides in the 12th position. This is the exact weather that his crew chief Mike Beam was hoping for back in May. They started and finished 3rd with this race car. Currently, though, running in 12th. The whole problem for Ricky, he says, is in the middle. It's really tight in the middle of the corner. They're going to adjust with wedge on their first stop, Bill.
In his press release this week, Ricky Rudd said this team still has a couple of wins left in it. Remember, Rudd is getting out of this car at the end of this season and going to the Wood Brothers number 21. There's been a lot of talk in the garage about whether a team can win when the driver's already said he's leaving. Rudd told us on the countdown to green he thinks they can. His best finish at this track is 3rd, but so far he's basically having to stop in the corners. He has no front grip. Matt?
Bill, Bobby Labonte has improved 4 spots since the drop of the green. Conversations between his crew chief Jimmy Maycar. The car is tight on entry to the center. Bobby won this race with this race car back in 2000. This car was sitting idle in the shop, but after a crash at Kansas, they pulled it out of mothballs, and the car is very good. An air pressure adjustment, both left, front, and right rear, Dave expected on his first stop.
This may be the perfect October car. It's called Pumpkin. That's because it used to be painted bright orange in the singular colors of teammate Robbie Gordon. They've tried to race it this year, but when they took it to Charlotte earlier and Indianapolis, they found a car that was better. This is the first time it's seen action. He started 20th. He's moved all the way up to 14th. Matt?
Dave, Michael Waltrip has a Winston victory here in Charlotte and 2 Busch Series wins, but never a points-paying win in Winston Cup. Hoping to change that today. Currently runs in the 16th position. Right now, the car a little tight. Air pressure adjustment in his future on the first stop, Bill.
Dave Blaney in the 77 car started 21st in this race today. So far, relatively good. up to the 17th position. For Blaney, interesting, best finish here, 21st. But teams keep waiting to see Blaney finish up front. Good driver on a 1.5 mile track. We'll see if he can have a strong finish here today for crew chief Brian Pemberton. As for Dale Jarrett in the 88 UPS Ford, basically his car's just been a little tight. Not much from DJ so far. Currently running in the 18th position. Marty?
Bill, Ward Burton loves the weather right now, not because it's nice and cool out here, but because his race car has really reacted to this cloudy, overcast condition. It's really come to life, and they thought this would be the case. They thought it would be better in these cool conditions. A little bit tight. They asked him what changes he wanted. He said, if you do anything, don't do much. Matt?
Marty, this morning, both Dave Skog and Mike Callie, the brain trust in the 19 team, told me they were rolling the dice, going with a little bit different setup because Jeremy didn't like the way the car felt. Although it was very fast in the final practice, it was not comfortable. Right now, the car is tight, just like it was in practice. They're talking about what changes to make. On his first stop, he runs in 20th, Alan.
And what about Ryan Newman, 4th in the championship? Remember, had to go to the back of the field in a backup car? He has made some nice progress, up to 30th spot.
The problem he's got right now, the leader is gaining on him to put him a lap down, Matt.
Well, Benny, back on lap 20, Ryan reported into his team the balance of the car was okay, but he said it was hard to tell. He couldn't tell if it was good or if it was just dirty air. Then back on lap 26, the car was tight on entry and loose in the middle off. He says he just cannot run the high line in turns 3 and 4. The car just won't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's talking about. Your car could be a rocket ship, but when you get into traffic, it's hard to pass guys, and I think that's what Ryan's fighting right now. He's got that dirty air, and he's having a hard time running his line.
And right now, Jimmy Johnson is about, there he is, he's just about a half a straightaway behind these cars. At 0-2 is Hermie Sadler. He made a pit stop just a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, they put tires on that car.
And it has dropped Hermie 2, almost 3 laps down now as Johnson goes by him. Guys who've been put a lap down by the leader: Kyle Petty, Terry Labonte, Mike Skinner, Bobby Hamilton, Robbie Gordon, Brett Bodine, Casey Atwood, Kenny Wallace, and Hermie Sadler.
A couple of Roush-Gutierrez battling for the 4th position.
A little loose there for Matt Kenseth coming off of 2. And it's easy to get somebody loose off of 2 if you're right on their bumper.
And while we were going through the field, both of these guys went by Tony Stewart. So now Kurt Busch is 4th, Matt Kenseth is 5th, and Tony's behind them in 6th.
There you see the orange car of Tony Stewart just coming to the picture.
And I'll guarantee you, guys like Tony are asking their crew chief, when are we coming in? When are we going to pit? Because they need some adjustments.
4 laps, guys, 4 to 5 laps.
Talk about that arrow loose that we just saw with Kurt Busch. Here, you get right behind somebody. Right here, the car in the red is going to get right up on the blue bumper, and it's going to take the air off the rear spoiler. It's also going to push a little air underneath the car, which creates lift on the rear of that blue car, which basically takes the rear tires off the racetrack.
And when you go down the corner, watch that. That's taking those rear tires off the track.
Yahoo!
Yahoo! Yeah.
What you say when you're loose?
It's the clean version.
Yeah, very.
And Jimmy Johnson, all of a sudden,
I just think because he's on new tires, BP, he didn't want him on his tail.
I guess, to get him arrow loose.
Yeah, exactly.
Jimmy Johnson in the office. Look at the guys. Look at the concentration.
And that's good when you see them. They don't get real wide. These cars handling pretty
See him
good.
glance up in the rearview mirror. When you come off the corner, you glance up in that rearview mirror. You'll probably do the same thing off 2. Yep. Glance up just to make sure no one's behind you.
Coming, right? 4.
Sounds like they're coming.
Yeah.
4,500 first, 4,500.
There he is. And Jimmy, I'm sure you're not going to do it.
Right up here, come on.
But remember,
Right here, buddy, 4,500 first. Come back a little bit, guys. Stop them back a little bit.
Yeah, stop him back a little bit. Don't let him run over that yellow line like he did in May.
Well, not only that, but when you pull in your pit, you don't want a guy pulling in front of you and blocking you in. Here it comes, Bill.
Jimmy Johnson down pit road, told his crew before the race, be calm, do a good job, give 100%, we'll be happy when the day is done. Car is just a little bit tight. They were talking about making a chassis adjustment, haven't seen that yet. Right in front of him, Tony Stewart is also on pit road. Want to make an air pressure adjustment to the left rear, also a chassis adjustment for Stewart. Johnson is down, goes around Stewart. Tony waiting on the left side tires, left side's going on. Started on the pole, got all the fuel in, Stewart's on his way. Snyder.
Bill, Jeff Gordon ran in third for most of that run. He's a little bit tight. They take a round out of the right side for Jeff Gordon. It will be 4 tires. He thought he had a right front tire going down. They decided to keep him out one more lap. They wanted to lead a lap, but they couldn't do it. Bill?
Bill Elliott is on pit road. They just want to put 4 tires on this car. Elliott's been just a little bit tight, wanting to get out of some of that traffic at the beginning of the race. Just wanted to put 4 tires on and see where the track goes. So it's 4 tires and fuel for Bill Elliott, and he'll head back out onto the track. Burns.
Rusty Wallace makes a hard left turn around the car of Jimmy Spencer, already in his pit. Just a little tight from the middle out. They're just going to make a slight air pressure adjustment to accommodate that. 4 fresh tires for Rusty, 2 cans of fuel. Crew finishing up work on the left side, and he's gone. Bill.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. sits in his pit stall. They make a chassis adjustment because, remember, his car also just a little bit loose. That's a contradiction to a lot of the cars out on the track, but he was loose. Right side tires, left side tires, quick stop, Matt.
And rookie Ryan Newman enters his pit stall. Remember, we told you had a hard time running up the high line 3 and 4. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. You can see the wrench in the back of the window. They come around to the left side for service. Newman down and away to Bill.
Now Ricky Rudd in his pit stall. His car had no front grip. He had to slow basically to make the turns. They cleaned the grill. Looks like they still have a little piece of tape on the front of that car. Around to the left side tires going on. Fuel for Rudd, and he'll be back out. They got that paper off the front of the grill. Dave.
Jamie McMurray's first pit stop in this car last week at Talladega ended in a stall. They reminded him to keep it running when he comes down pit road. They're going to give him 4 tires and help his condition just a little bit loose in, tight in the center. They're going to adjust with air. 4 tires. Let's see if he can get it off pit road. And he does. No stall. Matt.
Mark Martin already in for service. They're on the left side of the car. They were going to make an air pressure adjustment. Service already complete. He heads back out. Air pressure in both right side tires. And 7 of Kurt Busch in for service. Sean Parker, the car chief, told me after some discussion they decided not to make any chassis adjustments for Kurt Busch. Meanwhile, Ricky Craven is saying possible tire vibrations. They go to work on the left side of the 97 car. And he's gone.
Kurt Busch led until coming down pit road for that stop. Matt Kenseth took over the lead. The names in yellow are the guys who've already made their stops on this cycle. Now that Kenseth is in, Jeff Burton will take over the lead, though he's going to follow Kenseth down pit road, so there you go. Bill?
Oh, go ahead, Bill.
All right, thank you, Wally. Matt Kenseth's car on pit road, car just a little bit tight. Said he was pretty happy with it, but they're going to make a chassis adjustment on the right side. Now they'll come around and put the left side tires on. Matt had a great run last week, but nothing to show for it at Talladega. Finished 14th. See if he can improve on that here. Dave?
Jeff Burton in the 99 car, just a little bit tight. Air pressure adjustment to fix that. He is down pit road.
I was just saying earlier, BP, when I were watching it, when they pull that right front wheel off, the guys that are laying a lot of brake dust on the ground and the guys that aren't, and boy, that 40 car had a bunch of brake dust come off that front
I don't know how
wheel.
his front brakes are going to last. Man, there was a lot.
Because you don't really use that much brake here unless you're really having a hard time with the car pinning the nose. And if you've got a big push in your car, then you use a lot more brake.
All right, let's reset the leaderboard. Jimmy Johnson maintains the top spot after the cycle of stops. He's up by 9/10 of a second on Rusty Wallace. Jeff Gordon is 3rd, Kurt Busch 4th, and Tony Stewart 5th. Matt Kenseth is 6th, Earnhardt Jr. 7th, Bill Elliott 8th, Jamie McMurray still 9th, and Mark Martin rounds out your top 10. All right, let's take a break. Jimmy Johnson back in command of the UAW GM Quality 500. Here's what it's like going to change that front tire on that 48 car. It'd make you dizzy.
Looking down at the Smith Tower outside the Lowe's Motor Speedway as the cars zip along the front stretch and into turn 1. Already the first round of pit stops completed here. We have gone green since we finally put out the green after a lengthy rain delay. And that man, Jimmy Johnson, former Winston Cup Championship leader that has fallen back in the standings, trying to work his way back to the front of the points, is at the front of this field. Good pit stop for his crew. Good drive so far for Johnson. Everybody knows Jimmy Johnson, but do you know these guys?
Chris Anderson, Jackman, Tampa, Florida.
Jason Gay, front tire carrier, Lexington, Kentucky.
Hi, I'm Jason Burdett, catch cam from Arkport, New York.
I'm Ryan Malik, rear tire carrier from Franklin, Wisconsin.
Shane Parsnow, and I change front tires, and I'm from Oswego, New York.
And Shane was wearing the crew cam on that last stop. Once again, before this race started, the rookie Jimmy Johnson told his crew, be calm, give 100%. Everybody do your job. We'll be happy when the day's over. We'll see how that pans out. So far, so good for Johnson. Guys?
And I talked to the crew chief, Chad Knaus, on that 48 car this morning. He told me he felt like his car was faster this time than it was in May. And remember, in May, he led 263 laps or something.
Here are the top two in the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year Championship. One's about to put the other a lap down. Jimmy Johnson leading. Ryan Newman in the 12 is back in 27th place. And of course, Ryan fourth in the overall championship coming in. Two rookies have never finished in the top 5 in the championship in a season. Yet, these two could pull it off this year.
Wow, is Jeff Green using that high line or what?
He's up there now.
How about our Lowe's improvers? Kurt Busch would head that list.
Moved into 3rd spot, picking up 8 spots. Bobby Labonte has picked up 7, and Earnhardt Jr. has picked up 6. But on the other side...
Yeah, now we check the snoozers.
Oh, I hate this.
And a little deceiving there for Ryan Newman. 4th will be his official starting spot at the end of the day when you see the rundown in the paper tomorrow morning. Remember, he had to drop to the back because of the backup car. Still a net loss on the day.
And Jimmy Spencer, he and Robbie Gordon both just made unscheduled pit stops, so that's why. I don't guess Robbie Gordon did, but Spencer made an unscheduled stop.
Yeah, came back in 9 laps after the first one. They put just left side tires on the car, so lead one to believe maybe they left one loose.
Yep, it was Casey Atwood, the center car, that just made the unscheduled stop.
Just joining us, we are live after being delayed nearly 3 hours by rain. If you're tuning in to see the Gravity Games, you can see some extreme racing, NASCAR style. Gravity Games next Sunday at 4:30 Eastern after NASCAR here on NBC.
This 30 car, the AOL car of Jeff Green, in front of the leader, Jimmy Johnson, does not want that 48 car to pass it. Does not want that to happen. Because then if the caution flag should come out, they slow these cars down, he's a lap and a half down. As long as he stays there, the caution flag comes out, he can make up that entire mile and a half. Oh, look at him go to the top of the racetrack.
Kurt Busch.
Oh, he's coming, isn't he?
Trying to get that second spot away from Rusty Wallace.
Wow, that is strong right there.
That is strong.
His car is working on the bottom, and that's 1 and 2. The car looked really good. Was that 3 and 4?
That was 1 and 2.
That was 1 and 2. And 3 and 4, the car looked probably even better than that. He's taking the high line there. Because Rusty's taking up his low line.
Wow, look at him drive that thing around him, though.
That's a good handling race car right there.
Kurt Busch to second, now 0.8 of a second behind Jimmy Johnson.
Juan and I were talking about the pit stop of Jamie McMurray, the driver of the 40 car, and watch when that right front tire comes off.
Yeah, when they pull that right front off, you'll see all this black looks like dirt, and that's brake dust off the front brakes. See all that right out of the wheel? That is a lot of brake dust for Charlotte or Lowe's Speedway.
Yeah, and not more than 100 miles.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't really use your brakes here unless your car's not handling very well. So he may be pushing a little bit. Car may be not turning for him. I don't know, Matt. What's he saying?
But Wally, usually we see that kind of excessive brake dust on the short tracks like Martinsville. But here at Charlotte, some teams, even though they don't have a lot of brake dust here, they still have extensions on their air hose. And what they'll do is when the car comes in the pit, one crew member who won't go over the wall, he'll turn to the left front wheel and he'll blow off the wheel. So that way, when the tire changer comes around, he can see the lugs better. And also, when he does hit those lugs, that brake dust doesn't fly up into his face. So it's a two-pronged attack here to help him see and also help him breathe better. Dave?
Matt, I did check with Lee McCall, the crew chief on the 40 car, just to make sure that he wasn't concerned about the brakes on Jamie's car, and Lee said, no, we're not concerned. We expect that with these carbon brake pads, all that dust, and right now they don't think they have any problem.
Well, your leader, Jimmy Johnson, finally did get around Jeff Green. Now you see second place Kurt Busch working on the 30 car, and Busch has closed it in quickly.
I tell you, Jeff Green in the 30 and the 97 almost crashed coming off turn 4. Because right now, 97 car Busch, he's in a hurry. He's got somewhere to go.
And he's getting there pretty quick.
And he's getting there pretty doggone quick. Where he's got to go, right in front of that 48 car. That's where he wants to go.
You see, down to just 0.3 of a second. It was 0.8 of a second just 2 laps ago. And Jimmy Johnson in some heavy lap traffic.
Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 car. Oh, Kurt Busch is right there. Watch as he gets closer. 0.15 of a second. He'll drive down the corner, and that number is going to become less and less. 14, 12, 8, 0.
Rim riding his way to the lead. Kurt Busch out in front. 5th different driver to lead the race. Jimmy Johnson has led 62 of the 87 laps we've run so far, but there's a new man at the head of the leaderboard. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Don't forget tonight, it's American Dreams at 8, 7 Central here on NBC. Pretty good race for 4th place. Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth going at it.
About 2.5 seconds behind the leader, Kurt Busch. Jeff Gordon riding the rim up on the high side, and Kenseth has a 17 car right on the bottom.
Our Little Debbie trivia quiz. Here you go, boys. Last driver to win back-to-back NASCAR Winston Cup races here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte.
Wally?
I can't remember who won 3 weeks ago, let alone a question like that.
Got to go back a little ways.
Tell us. Davey Allison.
Fall race 1990 and the Coca-Cola 600 1991.
Remember, Davey Allison winning the Winston here backwards once and going to the hospital. Didn't go to Victory Lane.
Yeah.
The helicopter flew over the Victory Lane.
See Jeff Gordon pointing his finger out the window, telling Matt to go low.
And so Matt Kenseth to 4th place and Jeff Gordon back to 5th. Kenseth picked up his first NASCAR Winston Cup win here at this racetrack, May of 2000. That was a race that was delayed by rain. I think we ended up finishing that one at like 1:30 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. The May race that didn't start till 5:30 in the evening.
Oh, Kurt Busch right behind John Andretti. 24th position. Andretti's car is different this week. It's Pillsbury and some kind of biscuits, and hard to recognize for me.
Some kind of biscuits, and you don't even know?
Yeah, that's right. Grand's
biscuits. What do you always call them?
Wampum biscuits.
Wampum. Why do you call them wampum biscuits?
We take that tube, you whomp it on the kitchen counter and put them in the oven and bake them.
Wow, nice little wiggle by Kurt Busch there. Coming up on 150 miles in the UAW GM Quality 500. Things kind of settled in, so let's take a break. Kurt Busch is the race leader.
NBC's coverage of the UAW GM Quality 500 is brought to you by UAW GM. Assembly line to finish line. Teamwork wins. By Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold down easy. By Pep Boys. Help for your car is just a Pep Boys away. Pep Boys, we're car people. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. And by Circuit City. We know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you.
Update on the Coca-Cola Racing family. Having a pretty solid day so far. It is still early, but 3 of them in the top 10. Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott. Nice recovery for Dale Jarrett up the 12th spot.
Yeah, Jarrett has dropped back to about 20th, but now is on his way forward.
And Steve Park and Kyle Petty, along with John Andretti, all having been overtaken by the early leaders, Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch.
But right now, Steve Park, the 1 car, is very, very fast. Meanwhile, how about this? Ryan Newman, the 12 car, about to go a lap down. Close to.
How about that?
Oh! That's a little bit of a block there. That's okay.
You know, Ryan, Purdue, well, actually, I was going to say he's from South Bend and a Notre Dame guy, but I thought better of it. He's got a degree from Purdue, so he's probably a Boilermaker.
But meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson closing right up. Meanwhile, here we go. Kenseth going by Rusty Wallace for 3rd. Well, okay, trying to go by.
I talked about that black paint job that Rusty's cars got this week. He last ran that in the 96 season. From 90 through 96, he scored 30 wins in 210 tries using that black paint scheme on that car.
There we go. Kurt Busch, 97, has position on Ryan Newman. Put him a lap down, but Ryan is not going quietly off into the night, I don't think.
Look at this. Try and pinch him down a little bit.
Yep.
That will get him loose. Right there, he did get loose.
Oh, he used up all the racetrack.
Meantime,
Kurt Busch did.
Here comes Jimmy Johnson. Now, you pull down on a guy that's running low like that and get right next to his fender, you'll get that car on the bottom loose.
Johnson's got to be careful here.
Right on, Newman. You're making friends, buddy. That was a powerful right there.
I think that was Kurt Busch.
Yeah, I concur. And so Ryan Newman, the 23rd place guy, goes a lap down, and the top 2 are through. Jimmy Johnson was the championship leader, but of course was involved in the early problem with Mark Martin on the pace laps at Talladega last week. He finds himself now 3rd in the championship, 82 points behind the leaders, knowing with 6 races to go, he's going to have to be very aggressive if he's going to win the title.
You're going to have to go out and race and win this championship. You're not going to be able to ride around a 10th or 15th spot and hope that people break. It's just not going to happen. So, and I think that's great. It's what the fans want to see and what I want to see as a racer. I want to go race for this championship. And last weekend was a wacky deal, and the points changed a lot. And the way this has all been going, who knows what's going to happen after the race. But you got to attack, and you've got to get maximum points every weekend.
Boy, he's exactly right. You've got to race hard every single weekend till this thing's over, BP, because you can't cruise and collect on this one.
Championship standings as they run in the race right now. Tony Stewart's lead starting the day was 72 on Mark Martin.
Closed it up just a little bit, 15 points.
As they run now. Jimmy Johnson running 2nd. Let's see, who else we got there? Stewart is 6th, Martin is 7th, Rusty Wallace is 4th. And so far, the one today that's on the bad end of the stick is Ryan Newman, who we just saw getting lapped. He's back in 23rd.
Rusty Wallace, the 2 car, has been caught by Jeff Gordon in 24. Rusty's running right on the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4, and Jeff rim riding up on top. Dave, what's going on with the 2 car?
It's going to be interesting to see what they do for this next adjustment, because Rusty radioed just after the start of the run. It's a little too loose, but we'll be okay. Now, just 2 laps ago, he radioed in, it's getting tight now. So Rusty's not happy with this car at this point as Jeff Gordon tries to make the pass, guys.
Well, Rusty's going to back off and let him go. He's going to back off and let him go. There you go. I thought so.
We're talking about Rusty?
Wasn't Jeff Gordon the last when Rusty passed him that motioned him by?
I can't remember.
One of them, that's right. That was 10, 15 minutes ago.
Benny mentioned Dale Jarrett earlier in the race when he was falling back and losing all those spots, and then you and I were talking during the Coca-Cola update there, how he's starting to pick them back up.
Yeah, after 12th spot. And he's running about the same speed as the leader, maybe a tenth of a second slower, but a pretty competitive speed to Kurt Busch.
All right, we got another set of green flag pit stops coming up if we don't see the caution flag, so let's take a break here. Come back and get you set for the action on pit road. Kurt Busch is the leader, 0.4 of a second up on Jimmy Johnson. 223 laps to go at Charlotte. NBC tonight, check out what many are calling one of the season's best new shows. It's Boomtown, 10, 9 Central, NBC tonight.
Man, that looked like that would hurt rolling over the hood of that car.
Who was? I'll leave a mark. Don't ask me. Whatever the question is, just don't ask me. Kurt Busch is the race leader. Over 150 miles in the UAW GM Quality 500. Nearly 3 hours delayed by rain. You are seeing this live from Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. Caution-free so far. Tony Stewart led the opening 16 laps. Jimmy Johnson went out in front at lap 17, and except for green flag pit stops, he led until lap 86 when Kurt Busch went out in front. Pit stops, Matt.
Well, the 12th car is in, Alan. He was trying to stay on the lead lap. He said his car was just tight at both ends, off turn 2 and especially off turn 4. Robert Bensfield to the left on the left front. They made an air pressure adjustment, 14.8 seconds.
They stuck a piece of tape on the grill trying to get a little more water temperature and get a little bit more downforce on that car. That's what the white strip is. They just applied during that pit stop.
You think that's going to stay there?
No.
I see the bottom looped up, so I don't know how long that's going to stay there. We'll watch that.
Generally, if you read the directions on the thing of tape or adhesive, they say to clean the surface first.
Yeah, see right at the bottom there? See, it's flipped up?
Yeah.
That'll probably peel off, but we'll see. We'll see how good a tape that is.
And speaking of peeling off, onboard cameras, the sponsors put the decals around them to make sure you know what car you're on. This was Dale Jr.'s roof cam a little bit ago.
Yeah, that used to say Bud, but it says nothing now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
But they've still got the one on the dashboard inside.
Yeah, no wind in there.
Very nice. Where's Junior running? Junior's running in the 10th spot now. About 17 seconds behind Kurt Busch. Kurt talking to his crew a little while ago about what they want to do on this upcoming pit stop.
I like the way the car builds as far as air pressure. The right side's built more than the left, and it levels the car out as we run.
All right, why don't you just drop that track bar a little bit, Kurt, see if that snuck you up at the beginning.
If we do anything, let's just lower the rears a fuzz. Just enough to tell. Don't tell me.
What do you say, don't tell me?
Don't tell me.
We don't want to know as a driver.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson on pit road, the 48 car. Bill, coming to you.
And that's a long trip down pit road for Jimmy Johnson. His car's been just a little bit tight, so they're going to put in one round of wedge to help him. Jimmy had a great run here in May. We talked about throughout the afternoon how he overshot his pit stop on one of those critical stops. Good stop this time. They reminded him to put it right on the side, and he did. Right side tires going on. They make the chassis adjustment. Shane Parsnow and company around to the left side. There's the crew cam looking at the left front coming off. Left front going on. Tighten those sluts. Send Jimmy Johnson on his way.
Wow.
Good pit stop.
Great pit stop. I tell you, they didn't give Shane much time. Marty, 22 car.
Ward Burton's MVP. He is tight, very tight. They did make a track bar adjustment. He thought he lost a wheel weight on the right front tire. Had a vibration that entire run. The vibration going down the highway at 55 is bad, much less 180 on the racetrack.
Mike Skinner, Joe Nemechek, right of the screen, also on pit road. Let's tell you that Stacy Compton has come back from the garage area. 122 laps down after that clutch problem he had at the start. And Casey Atwood has gone to the garage area. They have some suspension problems on the 7 car. Kurt Busch, is he coming in this time? Well, not by going to the outside of Kenny Wallace, he isn't. Dale Jarrett is, though. Jarrett's in along with Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Steve Park, Brett Bodine, Kevin Harvick. How about Dale Jarrett's stop, Bill?
He comes down pit road following Bill Elliott down pit road, two former Winston Cup champions. The thing with the 88 car is that it gets tighter as they go along. In fact, his teammate Ricky Rudd, who's also in his pit stall, has said halfway through this run, his car gets tight. So they'll try and make an air pressure adjustment on the 88 and then send those guys all back out. Snyder.
Jeff Gordon is in. Bill, he said this thing just will not turn. It is extremely tight for the reigning Winston Cup champion. They take a pound out of the right front tire. They also made a track bar adjustment. Big weekend for these guys. They lost 92 points last week. Bill?
This will be very interesting on Tony Stewart. They talked about raising the track bar, and that's what they're going to do. They also talked about taking a spring rubber out of the left rear. Let's see if they do that. They're not going to do it because his car is so tight. Can't take that time under green. Tony Stewart's on his way, follows Gordon off pit road. Junior's already made a wedge adjustment. His car is just loose. Strangely, it's been loose throughout the day. The only car really having that problem. He's got fuel, an adjustment, and on his way.
Kurt Busch still leading, has not come in yet. He was one of the last to pit on the previous set of stops. Drivers in white on the ticker at the top of the screen. Those who've not yet come in on this round of green flag pit stops. Those who've stopped, their names will change to yellow, like Mikey Waltrip.
Who's in the pits right now, changing 4 tires and good to go. Dave?
Rusty Wallace is in. He doesn't have Jimmy Spencer to get around this time, so a smooth entry. They're taking some wedge out of the left rear. His car, remember, got a little bit tight near the end of the run. They talked about making further adjustments. Rusty said, no, let's just do this right now and not tile ourselves out. Great stop for the 2 team.
Not good enough for the BP Challenge, but good enough for Rusty compared to Jimmy Johnson and the other guys that have stopped.
BP Challenge got to make a pit stop under 13 seconds.
Get into Benny's pocket.
$700 they can do it. All right, let's watch Jamie McMurray come down. Can his guys do a pit stop 13 seconds under? I doubt it because they got to fill the tank up with fuel.
And let's see how much of that brake dust comes off that right front tire. We showed that after the first stop. Let's see if he's still leaning on him.
All right. Oh, yeah. Still a lot of brake dust. Leaders in the pits.
Well, Benny, he gives up the lead first. Kurt Busch was saying his car was just way too free, and then he looked up on the board and said, well, I guess we are the leader. The car's not that bad. First, they're going to go track bar, and then they were going to go air pressure on the left side. Then they decided just to do a right side air pressure, and then they finally decided not to do any adjustments at all. Just 4 tires. 13.9 seconds. Benny.
Great pit stop for Kurt Busch. Sean Parker, that entire crew.
Matt Kenseth is the leader. Mark Martin is second. The Roush-Gutierrez having a very fine day.
Yes, they are.
And, you know, Bill Weber was talking about the spring rubbers. He put these rubbers in the springs, and that's kind of an adjustment you do during a pit stop. But the problem is, if you do it under a green BP, it's tough to get those out sometimes. Obviously, the 97 car didn't make any adjustments, and that was a quick stop. If they were going to take a spring rubber out of a different car like Rusty Wallace or something like that, it cost you 3 or 4 seconds.
That's right. And right now, they just can't afford that 3 or 4 seconds that he would take. You see, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I guess he is a lap down, has made a pit stop.
Right, he's already come in, so
that's why he is a lap down to Kenseth.
And while we watch Matt and wait to see when he pits, I will tell you that on the exchange of pit stops, Jimmy Johnson has gotten in front of Kurt Busch as they came off pit road. Meantime, Kenseth is still the leader, and Junior on the fresher tires getting his lap back there.
Getting one of his laps back. All right, here comes Mark Martin down, Matt.
Well, Benny, his team is waiting for him as he finally makes a swerve to his pit stall, coming through the 15 pit, comes to a stop. Mark Martin said the car was a little bit tight. You can see the wrench going in the back window. They're going to make a chassis adjustment as they're trying to catch the tire a little bit loose. The guys come around to the left side. Martin on a drive for 5, looking for his 5th Lowe's Motor Speedway victory, Bill, and he's down and away.
And Matt Kenseth with the pit road crawl into his stall. He told his crew the car is not too bad. That's always good when you hear that from your driver. He shakes off the water bottle, doesn't want that. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment because his car is just a little tight. Revs the engine, left side tires going on, getting great fuel mileage. Former winner here. They sweep the grill clean, and Matt's on his way.
Sporty stop there by Kenseth's team, the defending pit crew champions in the annual competition that comes up in a few weeks at Rockingham.
It was a very good pit stop.
And Matt will rejoin the chase.
He just ran 67 laps between pit stops.
And we are now at 200 miles in the UAW GM Quality 500. There's your new leader, Jimmy Johnson's crew. Got him out with the race lead over Kurt Busch by about a 2-second gap. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Back at Charlotte under caution for a Bill Elliott problem that dropped debris on the racetrack. Some of the leaders are on pit road. Matt Kenseth has stayed out. Matt?
Al, the 97 is in. This will just be a quick gas and go. The car was a little free. A close call on exit to Bill.
Jimmy Johnson is on pit road. Chad Canals cautioned him. A lot of guys are going to stay out. A lot of guys are going to take two. Jimmy said there's no way you can take two. So Johnson's getting 4 tires. So is Tony Stewart right in front of him. Dave.
Rusty Wallace came in, even though they'd only gone 10 or so laps on the tires. They decided to get 4 more fresh ones. No adjustments on the 2 car. He wanted the windshield clean, but they've not been allowed the extra man over the wall to do that yet, so he said leave it alone.
Pit's strategy roulette there, and some guys staying out, some guys getting 2, some 4. Barney, what about Jeff Gordon?
Well, in that roulette, Will Allen, Jeff Gordon was one of the few cars, I think, that took 4 tires, actually. He said, I need more of what you're giving me. We're almost too good at the beginning of a run. We're giving up too much at the end of the runs. He was a little bit too tight. They took a pound out of both left side tires, and they added a rubber to the right rear. We talked about how you can do that. This caution helped this team out because they had the time to put that rubber in the right rear. It should make him a little bit looser.
Now, what put us under the yellow flag? I said debris from Bill Elliott's car. Look at the right side of that thing.
Yeah, he had a tire come apart, and we talk about how much damage.
And Bill is going the wrong way down pit road. Okay, thank goodness there were other cars making pit stops, but he was trying to get to the garage area to work on the car. And here's what happened to the right rear.
It's like the tire goes down getting in, and then it finally comes apart. As it comes apart, you can just see it, just like a conveyor belt whipping around right here. Knocks the side windows out of the car, so they have a lot of work to do before NASCAR will let them be back on the racetrack.
As a matter of fact, when Kenseth, the leader, goes by, the right window's going to come out. Well, it came out as Kenseth went by. Here's another shot. Just blows right in front of Matt Kenseth.
It just destroyed the right side of that car.
And NASCAR will not let him race on the track, will not let him be on the racetrack without that right window in. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on pit road making a chassis adjustment, starts to leave, and Bill Elliott pulls right in front of him, almost making contact with Jr.
A bad lap for Ray Evernham's teams. While Bill Elliott was having that problem, Jeremy Mayfield just went to the garage in the 19 car. So we'll try and find out what happened there. Cars that did not pit: Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Burton. They are now the top 5. Then Kurt Busch and the other leaders who did pit go from 6th on back. So first yellow flag of the UAW GM Quality 500 from Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte in North Carolina.
NBC's coverage of the UAW GM Quality 500 is brought to you by UAW GM. Assembly line to finish line. Teamwork wins. By the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. By McDonald's. And by Old Navy Painter's Pants, the handyman's classic.
Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, almost set to go back racing after the debris from Bill Elliott's car. Let's check out the Team Caliber Roush Racing 360 racer. What you got, BP?
Well, I was going. Wait a minute. I've got to turn the car, and I'm unplugged.
Power failure.
Power failure.
Best laid plans
of men and mice.
You see the scramble behind the car. Our pit crew goes to work. How about that?
All right.
All right, there you go.
Okay, now then. I want to show you that the water hoses are on the same side of the radiator. And why is that? Because on the street car, the upper hose is on one side, lower hose will be on the other side. Here, they put a divider in the radiator, so the water must go through the radiator twice. And by doing that, it cools at about 10 extra degrees. Anything to keep the water cool, to put more tape on the grill. Right, Wally?
That's right, BP. And more tape is good, especially here at Charlotte, because the more tape on the front of that car means you've got more downforce on the nose, and the car will turn.
Pace car's off, getting set to go back racing. Matt Kenseth is the leader. I got all the important people up on the flag stand.
Green flag, green flag.
Wow, that was a interesting restart. Boy, Kurt Busch caught a couple of them sleeping there.
As long as you pass to the right, you're okay. Until you get to the start-finish line. So Kurt Busch quickly up from 6th to 2nd and pursuing leader Matt Kenseth. Wow, a little team thing going on here. The radio traffic from the pit road inspector up to the control tower. The crew chief on the 17 was questioning that restart. His teammate is the one behind him, the 97, that got the big jump.
Well, everyone wants everything to be fair and square, right, Wally?
Wait a minute, how can you question the restart when you're the leader?
Well, he was thinking he was thinking the 97 car had jumped. I'll tell you what, the 17 car's bottoming out pretty good going in turn 3.
You know, I'll just bet that Bill Weber will follow up with Robbie Reiser for us, and we'll talk about it here in just a minute. How's that?
Sounds fair to me.
All right.
Hey, if these guys are down low and you've got room against the wall, hey, that's free passing.
Matt Kenseth leads. The blue car right behind him is Jerry Nadeau, the 44. He is the first car one lap down in 23rd place.
And check it out, all the Roushketeers in the top 10. First, second, fifth, and seventh.
Boy, Matt got a good break, and Kurt and Bobby Labonte, because all these guys behind him are fighting this lap traffic, and they're having a hard time getting around them. Meantime, these guys are single file, and they're driving away.
If we were at Talladega, we'd be saying we have a 5-car breakaway and a huge pack of cars behind them. There they are. That's a mess.
Yeah, a couple of them were 3 wide going into turn 1 there. I thought we were going to have another caution after not having one for, 700 miles of racing?
Well, we're not done yet.
That's right. We did not have a caution flag at Talladega. Had one near the end of the race at Kansas and a couple hundred miles here. So over 700 miles of racing without a caution flag.
Tony Stewart, Rusty Wallace, a couple of the guys who stopped and took 4 tires on that caution, shuffled back into traffic a little bit. Tony is 9th. Rusty is 8th. Jeff Gordon just behind them in 10th. Remember that 5 guys didn't pit on that yellow. Kenseth, Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, Michael Waltrip, and Jeff Burton all stayed out.
And you saw that Mark Martin jumped up to second in the point standings if the race were to end now, but it's not going to. And Kurt Busch trying to take over that second spot.
How about the 18 car moving back around him? Regaining one of the spots lost on that little restart shuffle. 21 car, Elliott Sadler. On board with him, second car 1 lap down. He's in 24th place. I need to mention, too, that Ryan Newman got his lap back coming to the caution flag.
What happened? Ryan Newman stopped about 15 laps before the caution flag came out. And we all saw him get lapped on the racetrack. But with those 4 fresh tires on the racetrack, he was able to make up enough time when the caution flag came out. He was in front of the leaders. And they never got a chance to use their fresh tires to make up the advantage on him.
Napa Field summary, 5 different drivers have traded the lead 9 times today. Jimmy Johnson has led the most laps so far, 66 laps. Kurt Busch for 46. Caution up in turn 4. Hermie Sadler.
Looks like the engine might have expired.
And those guys just about had it all sorted out, single file wise. Now they got to do it all over again.
And Jerry Nadeau, the 44, trying his best to get a lap back. Is Kenseth going to allow him to do it? Looks that way. Big break for Nadeau. Big break.
All right, he's the only one. Elliott Sadler in the red car can't get around the leader. Back to the caution flag. Now, talk about the restart before. Watch Kurt Busch in the yellow car, not even in the frame yet.
Well, it looks like the green flag was waving because these guys were accelerating, so I would say that's fair.
Well, now the restart point where the leaders are supposed to be is not. You'll see the red lines on the left wall. Watch them. They haven't come up yet.
And right there.
Yep.
Yeah, but it depends if the flag's waving.
If the flag's waving,
if the
he
flag
could go.
was waving, he could go. So we don't have that in the frame, but it's pretty darn close.
Bill?
Hi. Checking in on Robbie Reiser a second ago. But they were just questioning when the 97 made his move, if they'd made it to the restart point or not. And NASCAR's response to them, you're the 17 car, you are leading, aren't you? But what they talked about was getting to that point that you and Wally were just looking at there on the wall before you make your move. And apparently NASCAR felt he was there and the flag was out.
Oh, that's exactly right, Bill. If the flag was waving and my spotter's yelling green, I'm in the gas. Okay, let's take a look here. Here's a great shot. Here's the flagger. I think that was game. That flag was flying when he pulled out, so he did the right thing.
There you go.
Caught him sleeping.
And the rule is the race is restarted by the leader in the vicinity of the double red lines on the outside wall.
Here comes Earnhardt Jr., Bill.
Yeah, and he slides to a stop. Very nicely done, too. His car is so loose, he said he can't hang on to it. Sometimes he gets in the gas and just wants to slide out from underneath him. Air pressure adjustment, big wedge adjustment on the right side. They'll come around to the left side. Earnhardt Jr. actually had a long conversation with his crew under the caution period before we just went back to green about what to do to the car and what it's like when it runs well here. So they're going to try and get it to that position. He leads the parade off pit road.
Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, Jamie McMurray, Ken Schrader, Joe Nemechek, Kevin Harvick, Ward Burton, Ricky Craven, and Jerry Nadeau, the lead lap cars that pitted here under this caution flag. Yellow's out. We'll take a break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NASCAR on NBC continues next weekend with a doubleheader. Saturday, the NASCAR Busch Series on the 3/4 mile short track in Memphis at 2 Eastern Time. And next Sunday, Old Navy presents the Old Dominion 500 from Martinsville, Virginia. Noon Eastern. NASCAR on NBC. It's a nice little half-mile short track fender bending fest, too.
Oh, man. And it's a terrible, tough racetrack mechanically. Everything takes a beating. The engine, the gear, the brakes, the bodies, and the drivers. You know, I mean, it's a half-mile racetrack, but it is so physically demanding.
Yeah, well, you're standing on the gas, standing on the brakes, standing on the gas, standing on the brakes for 500 times. More than that.
That would be 1,000.
You got to do it twice. I knew the mathematician would bring it up.
All right, gonna go green next time. Remember the last restart? Jimmy Johnson and his crew chief had a little discussion about that.
Car's supposed to be mandating this jumping the start deal, and the damn 97 passed 6 cars before they even got to the start-finish line.
The green was out. I would have done it too, but Rusty was blocking into the fence. We would have had a bunch of them.
There you go. He was saying that Kurt was justified in doing that because the green flag was in fact out.
Now let's watch this time. I bet you'll see these guys up against the wall a little bit closer this time on the restart. They're not going to give anybody an opportunity to pass them on the right.
They're also worried about guys hanging back there, Wally, and that came up in the drivers' meeting, too.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks that has.
Yeah, they brought that up yesterday in our drivers' meeting, that if you did it, you were going to get in a lot of trouble for it.
Like being black flagged.
Like being black flagged.
Yeah, they don't want you hanging back trying to get a running start at the guys that are going slower ahead of you.
So see, now when you're up on the high line, what you want to do is you want to move up against the wall so the guy behind you can't pass you on the right side.
All right, let's watch for that restart point again and see what happens this time.
See, they're a little bit closer to the wall this time. But they still keep diving down, so.
Not yet. Green flag.
21 car, Elliott Sadler, the red machine, trying to get a lap back. 24th place, first one a lap down. By the way, I talked about Jeremy Mayfield going to the garage area earlier. At the same time, Bill Elliott had his problems. Broken gear.
Wheeler and Kenseth comes by nose to nose. A dead heat almost. But again, the 21 car is a lap down. On board with Elliott, the Motorcraft Ford.
Got a pretty good run off of 2 that time. And here comes Mike Wallace in the 14.
It's like Matt may have pushed up the racetrack getting off of 2 that lap, and that was just enough for the 21 car of Elliott Sadler to pull in front of him.
Mike Wallace also trying to get a lap back from the leader. Second place car is Bobby Labonte in the 18. Matt?
Alan, under that caution, Bobby Labonte was talking to crew chief Jimmy Makar. Makar said, Bobby, I don't know what you can do about protecting that outside and not have someone do a move like the 97 did, but Bobby said, I don't really want to go out there because I don't want to get stuff on my tires and build up as the rubber that comes off the tires for folks at home that can get on those hot tires, and then it makes it awful hard to turn when you go in the corner. So he was just going to try to do what he could.
Well, he's got bigger problems now because Labonte, the 18 car, has gone for the lead, has taken it. Kurt Busch trying to take over second spot.
First time today, Bobby Labonte has led. Got to be impressed with that 97 car in these middle stages of the race, BP. Strong machine.
Very, very strong. We talked to Jimmy Finding this morning, and I asked him how the car was. He said, it's almost perfect. Just maybe 1 or 2 little adjustments. And I'm going to say almost perfect. Fits it pretty well.
Yeah, he looks like he could drive where he wants. He runs a high line, runs a low line. He's fast both places.
He's almost in the lead. He's second now. 0.6 of a second behind Bobby Labonte is Kurt Busch, then Matt Kenseth in third, and Michael Waltrip there in fourth. Remember, those cars getting some track position by not stopping a couple of cautions ago. And we had all the quick yellows in a row.
Great run for Mikey in the 15 Napa car. Here we go. Tony Stewart, Todd Bodine battle for the 5th position.
And they're stacked up behind them. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, all racing for that spot.
Todd uses that outside line, gets a great run on Tony, but can't clear him.
Tony, the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader, entering the race today. First time in his Winston Cup career, he has led the standings. That car led, what, 16 laps at the opening part of the race.
Slid in front of that car. I mean, Tony slid right up in front of Todd.
Here comes Rusty. Hey, look at that. Tony's up in the high lane.
Well, that's because his spotter told him that Rusty was on the inside looking. Otherwise, he'd have been on the white line.
Yeah, and I don't think he wants to be there.
Now the spotter can tell him 26 on the inside. Woohoo! That's a power move by Tony. Rolling in on the outside.
Second place, Matt Kenseth trying to get back around Kurt Busch.
Mission accomplished.
Almost at the 250-mile mark of this race. Caution flags, we open the race under the yellow flag.
Oh, Busch just hits the wall off 4. One of those Wally Diamondback brushes with a wall, but
easy to do.
Easy to do.
As long as you hit it easy enough, it won't hurt your car. You have some scratches on it, but shouldn't really affect much.
Couldn't tell. I just saw the concrete fly. Couldn't tell what kind of impact he had. And Kurt Busch's car, all of a sudden, he's starting to struggle with this car. That's okay.
Yep.
We can still reach Sharpie. Let's see, Wally, what do you think?
Oh, that was an easy hit.
Just a grazing.
Just a touch.
That doesn't even count.
Okay. Well, I saw concrete.
You did.
Yeah.
Just a grazing.
Yeah.
Here's our leader, Bobby Labonte. Time for the singular call to the pits. I think we'll dial Matt Yoakum today. Matt, what you got?
Well, Alan, back like the fall of 2000 when Bobby Labonte won this race. Back out front, Jimmy Makar, you last pitted at lap 132. What's the game plan now?
Right now, we got the car pretty good. We've been working on it since the beginning of the race. It's been too tight. Every change we made the car a little bit better. Really pretty happy with the car right now. So plan from this point on is to try to stay up front, stay in clean air, and try to stay with the racetrack as it cools down to see if the changes, we can stay ahead of it with our changes, will be okay.
When do you think you'll stop next?
At lap 200. At lap 200.
That 18 car very fast on the long run. Bobby with a little concern on the short run.
Another car that's pretty fast right now is that 21 car.
Yeah, he's standing in front of the leader.
Elliott Sadler's clicking off some pretty good laps.
Talked to Elliott down in the garage area Thursday. He said this is a brand new race car that the Wood brothers have brought. He said this probably is the best race car they've ever had for him. He was delighted with this thing.
Spent some time with Bobby Labonte on Friday evening, and for a guy who by his standards has struggled this season, just the lone victory at Martinsville, and in fact from Martinsville for all summer long, they never even had a top 10 finish. He's very excited about things they've got going on at Joe Gibbs Racing, preparing for next season. They made the announcement they're going to put Jimmy Makar into the front office in a team manager's role, looking for a new crew chief for Bobby. They're switching to Chevrolet for next season. They've added engineering help. They've really got a lot of things going on that he seems to be very excited about moving forward. Joe Nemechek has just taken his car to the garage. Would only be the second driver to fail to finish if he is indeed out. Labonte's out in front, just past halfway in the UAW GM Quality 500.
167,000 seats here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Of course, 43 on the track. Some of those are retired to the garage where the view's not nearly as good. But Bobby Labonte has the best view. A good look at the bumper of Elliott Sadler. The good news for Bobby Labonte fans, he's leading the race. We can take you through the field, and we should probably start with the 18 car. Matt?
Well, Bill, this car earlier in the year was a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. They cut that body off after testing it at Texas and then took it to Indy. Then it sat in the shop. Currently leading the field. Bobby's other agenda, trying to get this team turned around to try to attract a high-profile, big-name crew chief to this 18 team because Jimmy Makar is stepping down. Bill.
Behind the 18 is the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Yes, they questioned the restart of the 97 Kurt Busch. Nothing came of that. And yes, they are bottoming out a little bit in the turns, but that's basically because they're getting great grip. It's just kind of skipping across the pavement. No big deal there. Matt having a good ride. I think he's going to be strong at the finish. We'll see what happens. No complaints from the driver. So that's the 17 car. Matt?
Bill, the teammate to the 17, the 97 of Kurt Busch, he said before he hit the wall, the car has tightened up beautifully. And then back a few laps ago on 172, he said that the car is now tight and then loose up off the corner, partly due to the fact that the sun has come out and also where they are on their cycle. Meanwhile, the 15 car of Michael Waltrip, back on lap 126, pitted and took on 4 tires. A battle with the 2 car of Rusty Wallace. Wallace makes the pass. They took 1 pound out of all 4 tires. The car was a little loose earlier. He likes how the change has affected the race car. Man, oh man, he said, I was fixing to get on my horse and ride on out of here.
Matt, Rusty is very happy with his car, obviously passing the 15, but he did radio in that his windshield definitely needs to be cleaned now. Remember, we talked about not getting the extra man to do that last time. When he reported it, it was about 30 seconds after the sun broke through here, so he could tell the windshield very dirty on Rusty's car. The 99 of Jeff Burton has stayed out the last 2 times. Checked with crew chief Paul Andrews. He said that's because her car is great. They will need to make a pit stop around lap 190 to 195. The last time they pitted was lap 133. Bill?
Well, the last time that the 28 car of Ricky Rudd pitted, well, I'll tell you what, let's talk about the 20 first of all. That's Tony Stewart. One word from him just a few laps ago. Tight. 2 stops ago, they made a track bar adjustment on that 20 car, and that made it better on the get-go. It was good on that entire run the second time, but that was a short run. This is the run they wanted to see. Not really what they were hoping for. Tony Stewart gets tight. So that's the 20 car. Behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Remember, he came down pit road on that most recent caution when a lot of other guys didn't. Car was just bad loose. They made that big wedge adjustment. We watched it. It's helped a lot. The 8 car has climbed up to 8th, just about 10 seconds behind the leader, and he's on the move. As for Jimmy Johnson, currently running 9th, and this team really sticking to their game plan. No major adjustments, just staying calm, everybody giving 100%. Johnson on the way forward, fighting some of that traffic on his outside around that, and he sets out in pursuit of the 8 car. Now we're going down to Marty.
And Bill, Todd Bodine has stayed out on the last 2 caution flags. That car's been pretty good, and then the last stop they had was on lap 138 as Todd gets ready to be passed by Mark Martin on the outside. Todd's car's getting very, very tight on these longer runs, and it's just not working for him right now, but they have been fairly happy today with that Discover card Ford. Alan?
That's a couple of times we've seen Todd Bodine make some great saves last week at Talladega. Someone got in the rear car just like Mark Martin did, and same result. Great job saving the car.
Look at this. This is all a race for position here. Ricky Rudd in the 24. Jeff Gordon in the... let me back up.
You'll get it right eventually.
Jeff Gordon in the 24. Ricky Rudd in the 28.
There you go.
Todd Bodine in the 26.
We knew you could do it.
Thank you. I appreciate your confidence and support. Yeah. All right, let's talk about some more of these guys as we continue to go through the field. Bobby Labonte still leads. Matt, how about Mark Martin?
Well, Mark Martin has faded out of the top 10. He just climbed back into the top 10 in the 10th position. He's been fighting a tight race car most of the afternoon. Back on lap 133, they made a wedge adjustment. It hasn't seemed to really help the race car. It is still tight, Bill. They're talking about another wedge adjustment on his next stop.
Matt, good run here for Ricky Rudd, and I'll tell you what, there's some good communication going on between driver and crew. In fact, on his last pit stop, Ricky said the car was getting better, just started tightening up on him halfway through the run. He said, just do a little bit more of what you did last time, and that seems to help the car. Ricky in 11th, long way to go. Marty?
Bill, Jeff Gordon is in 12th. It's the same car that won the race at Kansas just a couple of weeks ago. The team took the time when they came down pit road to take on 4 tires and pull that spring rubber from the left rear, but at what cost? Jeff came down pit road running 5th then. Now he is in the 12th position. They lost a lot of track position, but the car is better. Bill?
Dale Jarrett went backwards at the beginning of this race because he couldn't get back in the gas fast enough in the turns. The car was so loose. They made some adjustments, then it got too tight. Then they came in, made a track bar adjustment 2 stops ago. That helped the car. No changes last time, just 4 tires and fuel. Dale Jarrett currently running 14. Yoakum.
Bill, the 12 car rookie Ryan Newman running in the 15th position. What a day they've had. They've been at the back. They've worked their way to the front. The race car, like a lot of other guys, tight. They came in for a gas and go. Back on lap 152. They're talking about what adjustments to make on their next stop, but he's still tied up off the corner, Dave.
Matt, Jamie McMurray's goal is to keep the 40 car in the owner's points. More on that another time. But that's why he's racing. He can't win a driver's championship, but he's keeping it in the owner's points. His day sounds like a broken record. Tight, track bar adjustment, tight, wedge adjustment, still tight, more wedge. Lap 173 radioed in. The car is still tight. Bill?
Well, we talked about Dave Blaney earlier, waiting for the breakthrough race. This may be it, then again, maybe not. Blaney tight in 1 and 2, gets tighter every lap, so they'll have to work on that. He's about 18.5 seconds behind the leader. How about the 44, Marty?
Well, I know someone is on his Christmas card list, Kurt Busch, for helping him get his lap back for number 1. Jerry Nadeau's had a pretty good run. The car has not been that bad. The reason he was at the back of the field, a 23-second pit stop on their first stop of the day. That got him back there, but the car's not been too bad. They tested Atlanta earlier this week. Really helped out here, Dave.
The car pumpkin has not been the great pumpkin so far for Kevin Harvick. Early on, he radioed in that he had no front grip. Recently, he's radioed in that he has no rear grip. This thing is really acting like a bad squash right now. Marty?
Ward Burton's been fighting a nail-handling race car all day long, Dave. It's bounced back and forth between loose and tight. He was very uncomfortable on the last set of tires. They took advantage of the caution, took on 4 tires. They gave him an adjustment. He's much better. They started 27th today. That's nothing for Ward. Here in the spring, or this race last year rather, started 26th and finished 3rd. Pass on the track.
3rd place.
Rusty Wallace takes that 2 car to 3rd by Kurt Busch. Well, I said that.
Not so fast.
Wasn't he in front of him?
Yeah, but he could not get on the gas. I think if he got on the gas like he wanted to, the car was going to push. So Rusty had to wait until he felt that car was going to stick and then get back on the gas. In the meantime, Kurt was up on the high side in the gas.
I got to interrupt you guys. Developing story, Jimmy Johnson thinks he's going to lose an engine. Just radioed in, I think it's going to blow. That's the 48 car.
Oh, man.
Running 9th right now.
Well, what's that tight, guys?
Joe Nemechek went to the garage. Engine failure on the 25 car. First of the Hendrick cars to go out of the race. Remember last week, all 6 cars in the Talladega race went out with engine failure. Benny showed you what happened to them.
Picks up the vibration, and it does it through the corner. Goes around the straightaway. Hit this time. Hit this time.
Hit this.
Stand with this rhythm. We got to stay out.
I was going to say, I wouldn't want to be coming in. In case the vibration is not an engine.
I don't want you to bust your ass out there.
I'm just concerned that it might be a loose wheel.
And I think that's the concern down here too, Benny. Maybe he just felt that vibration, thought it was in the engine compartment.
Well, you know, Bill, they're only, what, 9 laps from lap 200. There's some guys going to start to come in at lap 200 for pit stops, right?
That's right, because there are about 8 cars here out of sequence with the rest of the field.
And if they stop at 200, well, it's going to be close to make it the rest of the way. Then they got to run.
Well, 67 or 67.
Yeah. And I'm not sure he can. Some cars can, but.
All right, we're up against time. We need to take a commercial break. Something happens to Jimmy Johnson. We'll break onto the commercials, cut back to it live for you. Bobby Labonte leads. Coming up on 300 miles here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. Back live, Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. Like we told you, something's up with the 48. Here we come. Jimmy Johnson's on pit road under the green flag. Just a moment ago, Matt Kenseth was on pit road under the green flag. We'll follow the Kenseth story in a minute. First, Bill, how about Jimmy Johnson?
Well, we're going to find out exactly what the problem is coming down pit road. They're going to change 4 tires. The lefts look okay. Can't see the right side. They got a wedge wrench in there to make a wedge adjustment, trying to loosen that car up a little bit. These cars getting tighter as the race goes along. Around to the left side, it's a 4-tire stop under green. This puts him out of sequence with the rest of the field. He needs this race to stay green, but if it's just a tire and not a motor, that's much better.
Well, he's got a problem, Bill. If it stays green, I'm not sure he can make it the rest of the way on another stop.
Yeah, but if the caution comes out, he's really going to be in trouble. He needs it to stay green through this sequence, and then the caution to come out so they can all work back to the same lap.
There again, I agree with that.
Now, I told you Matt Kenseth pitted from second spot while we were in that commercial break. Check it out. Look ahead from Elliott Sadler's car. Watch the stuff coming flying at you.
Down in turn 1, and we see that right front tire starting to come apart. A piece flew off of it, and he was able to make it to the pits before he tore up too much like Bill Elliott did when his right rear came apart.
So, ditto for Kenseth like we were just talking about for Jimmy Johnson. Needs the race to stay green while everybody else comes in for a pit stop. Then he'll be back in cycle. Caution comes out now. It's going to catch him way behind. And speaking of that cycle of stops, leader Bobby Labonte last pitted at 1:31, so it's not going to be all that long before we see him in. Maybe another 5-6 laps. 8th place here.
If you still feel that vibration, we're going to have to bring it in and fix it. If you still feel it, we're going to have to bring it in and fix it. It's all gone. Everything's fine.
I think it had a loose tire.
And left rear, Benny, left rear, the lug holes are out of round, so the left rear was loose.
So fingers crossed on that car that everybody else pits before the caution flag comes out.
And this place, being as rough as it is, with the bumps down the backstretch and then 3 and 4, will loosen things up more than some other places.
And the left rear is always going to be the one that loosens up first, because the tire trying to spin forward is trying to loosen the lug nuts up. You tighten to the right, the wheel spins to the left.
Right. Ricky Rudd, Michael Waltrip just made green flag pit stops. Johnson showing now in 30th place. You see Rudd coming back up to speed off the apron of the track, just behind Johnson onto the speedway. So the strange twists of tail that has been the chase for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship takes another little diversion here in Charlotte today, for the 48 car anyway.
But as you talked about just a moment ago, if we can get to all the other cars making their pit stops and go through the entire cycle, and then the caution flag come out, these guys will be okay.
Other thing where it may complicate life for the 48 car is fuel mileage. If the race goes green from here to the finish,
then he's in trouble because he's got to stop twice more, where most cars will only stop once.
Johnson has led 66 laps on 3 different occasions today. He now finds himself way back in 27th spot. Kurt Busch has led 46 laps, body to body, with a strong time out in front right now. He's been out in front for 45 laps.
Okay, step forward, we'll take care of it.
That's Matt Kenseth's radio.
What did he say? Right front settle.
Here comes Labonte coming off turn 4 down pit road to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Benny, when was the last time you heard Bobby Labonte say, "I don't need anything, just 4 tires"? It's been a long time. Bobby Labonte having a great day. It's exactly what they're going to do. They're not going to make any adjustments to the Interstate Batteries Pontiac, which will become a Chevrolet next year. Peter Gillen reaching for the second can of gas as Todd Meredith comes around and grabs the left front. Jason Lee pumped 2 pumps on the jack. They get the left side tires on. Barry Cook done today.
Matt, Jeff Burton, and crew chief Paul Andrews discussed what to do with the car. Jeff said this time it got a lot tighter, but we have a lot more laps on these tires. It gets tight that way, so no changes on the 99. Just 4 fresh tires and full of fuel.
Great stop for Bobby Labonte. Did you see that? 13.8.
Quick. Almost got the BP money there.
Mark Martin down pit road.
These guys, the guys that didn't pit there and stayed out for the track position earlier, Matt, they're in now.
Well, Mark Martin finally comes in for service. Remember, we told you he's been fighting a tight race car most of the day. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. This was their scheduled pit stop. Already around to the left side of the race car. They're also going to make an air pressure adjustment to try to help Mark fix that tightness. Service complete on the 6. DeVille.
And down pit road, Tony Stewart will make the trip. Just about 3 laps ago, he told crew chief Craig Cipotelli, it's real tight. So now he pulls into his stall. They never have pulled that spring rubber out of the left rear to help loosen up the car. It just takes too long. So they're going to make another wedge adjustment. Right side tires, wedge rim still in there. The catch can man makes the adjustment. That's a long reach. You got to be a tall guy to make that move. Lug nuts going on, fuel spill. He's on his way, Dave.
Rusty's in, car a little bit tight, wedge adjustment. They're going to change 4 tires on this car. They asked the NASCAR official with a hand motion that looked like wax on, wax off if we could have a windshield guy. He said no. Rusty has the same windshield on there. Marty?
We talked about the track position Jeff Gordon gave up to make that chassis adjustment. It paid off. He was in 4th when he came down pit road. Barely tight. Matt?
Kurt Busch in on his last stop. No adjustments. This time the car had gone to the tight side, so they made an air pressure adjustment in the right front, Bill.
They make a big chassis adjustment on Dale Jarrett, who told Todd Parrott, tight off, tight off. He's got fuel tires, a new ride on his way.
New leader's Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he might have another 15 laps or so before he has to stop, because he came in the lap 152 caution when all these other guys who've been watching pit did not.
And Junior, since they made that last tire change, and made the chassis adjustment, has been very fast. Had worked his way up to 3rd position. Okay, here's Dave Blaney and Bill.
And we can watch this crew go to work, and they've had good pit stops throughout the year. Just need to put the whole package together and finally get Blaney to victory lane. Brian Pemberton keeps saying, I'm hoping it's this week, I'm hoping it's this week. May not be today, but getting closer. It's 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment for Dave Blaney.
All kind of trouble on that right front. Got the stop off to the bad start and ended up being 20 seconds.
there goes the leader by. See Ricky Craven just coming off the pit road as well in the Tide ride.
I see Junior down the backstretch, 8,500, almost 9,000 RPMs. Down to around 7,000 in the middle of the corner as he goes by Kenny Wallace. Dave Burns.
And Kevin Harvick is in pumpkin. They are going to make a chassis adjustment wedge on the left rear. They're going to change 4 tires. Crewman trips on the way around, but picks himself back up and goes for the left rear. Continues the stop and is going to get Kevin out of here in good shape.
Smoking those tires. Hardy.
And Jerry Nadeau's found his way into the top 10. The car's pretty good, just a little bit tight. They do make an air pressure adjustment in the right front tire. He wanted a bottle of water. They do have a chance to get their first top 10 of the season in this car. Jerry's best finish in the 44 car, 21st at Bristol. They could do much better today. Nice stop for these guys.
Running order shuffling while a round of green flag pit stops is ongoing. The 3 who have not stopped that are atop the leaderboard: Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jamie McMurray, and Ryan Newman. Getting word from pit road to expect Dale Jr. this time by. He presents himself in turn 4 and hangs the left.
Okay, now 55. 50? 45. 45. That's forever.
That is forever.
We would throw it to Bill Weber, but it would take him 5 or 10 minutes to get there. Bill?
And then Bill would have to talk and talk and talk and talk.
Oh, hang on up there for a second, would you?
Okay.
Here's Junior. He's got pit road pretty much all to himself. Slides to a stop. The adjustment they made 2 stops ago, and we saw him make that huge wedge adjustment, has really helped out. Not expecting any chassis adjustments at all on this stop. It's just tires and pack the fuel cell. Pack it full. It's full. He's got tires, and the Bud Chevy heads back out into the race.
And Bill, I saw $700 go flying right out of my pocket there. I just knew this was going to be 12 something.
He jumped to his feet.
What'd you get, BP?
13-7.
13-7.
And he did too. He jumped out of the chair in the seat.
Grabbed his head. Oh no!
All right, so Junior rejoins the chase, leaving Jamie McMurray and Ryan Newman as the 2 leaders who have not made a stop on this round yet. There's McMurray. He is the race leader. How about that? Second ever Winston Cup race. He's leading laps.
Getting 5 bonus points for Chip Ganassi and Felix Sabanes, the owners of this car.
Bobby Labonte will maintain the lead once those 2 guys stop. And we're closing in on the finish. 120 laps to go here in Charlotte. Saturday, October 26th on NBC, it's the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships. 8 stakes races from Arlington Park in Chicago, including Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner War Emblem. Coming up in 2 weeks, the World Thoroughbred Championships on NBC. Cycle of pit stops has been completed. Ryan Newman and Jamie McMurray both came in, so Bobby Labonte is back out in front. How about this? Last 10 races here at Lowe's Motor Speedway for Bobby Labonte, 7 top 5 finishes.
Not too shabby. All right, Jamie McMurray just made his pit stop, Dave.
And it was a really good pit stop, Benny. They got in and out very quickly, changing 4 tires, filling it full of fuel, and they went up on the track bar. Now, Jamie radioed in this time that the car was not tight like it was last time, but to kind of stay with the track, as it may tighten up later today, they went ahead and made that track bar adjustment just to keep up.
Coors pit summary. How they came in and how they left.
Labonte in first, out first. Kurt Busch in third, out 7th. Not good.
I just saw the
Bobby Hamilton.
Yeah, he took some extra stuff out of his pit stop, so he'll be making a stop and go penalty. The fuel can went with the car.
Oh, that's not good.
Wound up in Elliott Sadler's pit.
See Matt Kenseth now back in second spot. For both Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson, the race did stay green till everybody else pitted, so they're right back in the thick of things.
Oh, and Ricky Rudd, hard contact with the outside retaining wall.
Oh, I guess.
South County race.
break it up.
See Ricky trying to get the window net down and bail out of that thing.
Yeah, we can see there's a fire underneath the car.
Can you make it?
Nope. No.
Sorry, Rick. Yeah, he's talking there a minute ago, Fatback.
Rick Cordell, the spotter, telling Michael McSwain that he was talking a moment ago.
Looks like might have blew a tire, Raymond.
See if we can tell what happened to Ricky Rudd to cause this hard crash. You heard what they were talking about?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Definitely a tire went down.
And Michael McSwain just saw that replay and said, yeah, I would say he blew a tire. I agree with you, Michael.
So I was just starting to talk about how Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth had gotten through the cycle of pit stops without a caution coming out. We're back in the top 10, and the yellow flag waves for Ricky Rudd having his problem. It hadn't been all that long since Ricky pitted, had it? When was the last time he stopped?
See how slowly he gets out of there.
Yeah, he had just stopped at lap 198.
Tell you what.
It's okay.
Looks okay. Man, that was hard lick. Okay, here we come. Leaders down pit road. Burns coming to you.
Rusty's coming in. The car reported a little bit loose at lap 215. He said that round of wedge you took out, put it back in. It made me too loose. They will take on 4 fresh tires and get it full of fuel. Matt?
Dave, Peter Rabbit, Peter Jellin, the gas man and truck driver, backed up the wedge adjustment they made at their last stop. Bobby Labonte, this caution came at a great time because this set of tires, he felt like it just didn't feel great to him. He was going to back off, Bill.
Matt Kenseth said the car is good, but he finally complained about it bottoming out, so they went up a ½ pound on all tires to try and help that.
I see the numbers spinning there, and as we follow the guys in the triple box, that kind of is affected by where your pit box is versus the start-finish line. Rusty lost a bunch of spots, stopping shy of the start-finish line, and then gained them back when he passed all those other cars. About the 24, Marty.
Yeah, Alan, Jeff Gordon came down pit road running 10th. He said, we were not bad on that last run. The track is really coming to us tonight. 16.1 on the stop. 4 tires, no changes, and a bottle of water for Jeff Gordon.
So Bobby Labonte is going to hang on to the lead, winning the race off of pit road. Hoping to pick up his second victory of the 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Hoping his Pontiac gives him a little magic carpet ride tonight. Our Pepsi race recap. How things have unfolded today at Charlotte. Nearly a 3-hour rain delay until the pre-race festivities concluded and the green flag finally waved. First the green in caution while they finished drying out the track. Finally, after 5 laps behind the pace car, Tony Stewart led the field down for the green flag. Remember, the cars lined up according to points because qualifying was rained out. A lot of green flag racing, a lot of green flag pit stops, a lot of hard work on pit road today. Jamie McMurray, Matt Kenseth, all those drivers having a great day. Here's Shane Parsnow, the right front tire or the front tire changer of the 48 car, taking you inside his job. Lap 137, Bill Elliott shreds a right rear tire, destroying the side of his car and littering the track with debris, bringing out the first caution flag of the race once we got past the rain. Then just moments ago, Ricky Rudd, right front tire down. He pounds the turn 2 wall. Ricky climbed from the car, but the right side of that machine destroyed as well. Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart. They've done most of the leading today. Johnson surviving a scare when he had a left rear tire loose between pit stops that brought him to pit road. Kenseth surviving a scare when he had a flat right front tire, both back in the thick of things.
And you see, looks like Weber's going to have a smaller fuel cell.
Bill, you got a small fuel cell coming. Did you know that?
Our NBCSports.com online poll. Your initial response to last week's experiment by NASCAR to use smaller fuel cells.
Didn't like it too well.
You lose, Bill.
BP?
Yes.
What do you mean I lose? I win.
Yeah, that's right. You get the fuel cell on the wagon.
That's right. I win, and BP, I also won the should we restart Talladega and Daytona with one to go.
I noticed that by 3%.
Thank you.
I was just thinking more along the lines of they thought you had too much gas and needed a smaller tank.
Hey, it was 6%. We're going racing.
Bobby Labonte leads. The silver car, Jamie McMurray. Check that. Jamie McMurray leads. I'm sorry. In the 40 car. Did he not stop? No, he didn't. 40 car didn't pit under the caution. That's why he's out front. Remember, McMurray was one of the last ones to stop under the green flag, so it's only been 10 laps since he was on pit road anyway.
All right, battle for the lead. Here comes Bobby Labonte on the outside of Jamie. He takes the lead. Marty?
A vicious lick for Ricky Rudd. You're okay. Did it give any indication the right front was going to go down, Ricky?
No, I knew about the time I sailed off in the corner. It went boom and no warning whatsoever. The car's had been getting tighter and tighter. It's cooling off, and we developed more and more of a front end push, which that kind of aggravates the right front tire condition. But must have run over something. Didn't see it. No warning, and just glad I had that Hans on because stretched my neck pretty good.
The good news is he is fine and out of the infield care center.
Look at the rookie.
All right, I said Labonte had taken the lead before Marty talked to Ricky Rudd. Guess what? He didn't take the lead. As a matter of fact, Jamie McMurray still has it. Here goes Jimmy Spencer. Oh,
big trouble on the front stretch. 5-6 cars involved. Kevin Harvick's in it. Ward Burton, Ricky Craven, Robbie Gordon. It's Bobby Hamilton sliding across the grass. And still others. Oh, one car on fire down in turn 1. It was Craven's car. The fire's extinguished itself.
Here comes Ryan Newman, the 12 car, getting in the lap back. Here comes the 21, 77, all these cars. Jimmy Spencer getting in the lap back. Now slow down, guys. A lot of debris, a lot of wrecked race cars. There you go.
Ward Burton's car all torn up. 22 in front of you. Brett Bodine got a piece of it. Also believe that Todd Bodine, is that Todd or is that Robbie Gordon? No, Todd Bodine's in it also.
And Robbie was in it as well.
Todd Bodine, Jeff Green, Robbie Gordon.
Look at the spring underneath the fuel cell.
Yeah, rear spring laying underneath the fuel cell there.
All right,
what happened? When you see springs laying on the racetrack, that means something bad happened.
Hard hit.
They come off the corner, 3 wide. Ward Burton, Kyle Petty get together.
They got in the grass, whoever that was. Todd Bodine got that left side tires in the grass like we talked about earlier. You don't want to do because it's so wet down there. And it shot him right back up the racetrack into traffic. Watch here. Yeah, I kind of got the end of it there. Or after he's already been in the grass.
That white car on the outside is Jeff Green.
And Harvick takes some air here.
And the 44 car, Jerry Nadeau down through the grass. I'm surprised he didn't get stuck there as muddy as it was.
I think he had momentum on his side.
Listen to this.
What a mess. Here's the first look at it again, where you just see Todd Bodine's left side tires nip that grass. Remember all the rain we had today, the 3-hour delay.
Right here, watch. He hits the grass, the car slides up into traffic.
And it's on.
A lot of cars involved. Oh, man, oh, man. On board, John Andretti just barely gets through this. I think, oh, he does.
Back down.
And you can see the mud hit the lens from when Todd went through the grass.
Todd Bodine. Listen to this. Marty, you going to talk to Jeff Green?
try, VP. He's surveying the damage, and there's a lot of damage to survey. Did you see Todd get down in the grass, Jeff?
Had to be a Bodine. Todd Bodine? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, I got hit. I don't know. I got up on the outside of Ward there, and he gave me room, but I don't know. We wasn't very good, but not real good now.
Were you aware of how slick the grass was, though, and not to go down there all day?
They don't need to be in the grass when it's dry, much less slick.
All right, and there are a lot of damaged race cars down here, guys, and a lot of torn up sheet metal, and a lot of cars just going to fix these. A lot of guys just going to fix these cars so they can load them up and go home.
Did you hear Todd Bodine when he got in the grass and hit that? Did you hear the engine rev?
There's
he lost traction.
There's 6 inches of water on that grass yet.
But I mean, that happens all the time in these races here with that double dog leg. Guys clip that grass with those left side wheels.
Yeah, you can do it when it's dry. You just can't do it when there's water in it. As soon as you get water on that left rear tire, like Benny said, that's it.
Couple inches on the wrong side of things for Todd Bodine, and now 10 cars involved in this melee across the start-finish line at Charlotte. Under caution, 102 laps to go. We'll be back. A sight you never want to see. Close up of the back end of a tow truck from your race car.
That's on the hook. That's definitely on the hook.
Todd Bodine's car, one of 10 damaged in this melee down the front stretch.
And listen, the engine.
He hit that water. That was about 1,000 RPM jump.
Yes, it was. And loss of traction. Well, another Richard Childress driver in the crash. He's with Marty.
Yeah, BP, unfortunately, all 3 RCR cars were in the crash. And Robbie Gordon, you had a better view than your teammate Jeff Green did. What did you see?
I just saw him, starting to spin in front of me. I started to slow down. I don't know if I locked up the rear brakes or somebody clipped me, but all of a sudden I turned around backwards. Bummer, we were just trying to get a decent finish with the singular wireless car. Saw 3 cars crashing in front of me. We didn't have a good day. We were just trying to get a decent result out of it.
A lot of damaged cars out here, and they're trying to get these cars out for at least one lap as you watch the replay of the wreck, and there's all kinds of work going on down here in the garage.
Oh, that's a terrible sound.
I think Robbie got clipped. It looked like as fast as that thing came around, I believe somebody got in the back of him there.
And that's where they put the gas in the car. There's no back. There is no back.
No. A lot of cars in the garage, 10 involved in the accident. Most of them have gone to the garage. Ward Burton has gone to the garage, Todd Bodine, Jeff Green, Robbie Gordon. Kevin Harvick's made about 5 pit stops. John Andretti and Bobby Hamilton and Kenny Wallace have been on and off pit road a bunch of times.
See him fitting a right front fender, part of the nose to Kevin Harvick's car.
It's amazing it didn't do more damage to that car because we saw a lot of air under that 29 car.
I just wonder if anything's been under that suspension there, because you're right, Benny. He got up in the air pretty high.
We see the guys under the car, I guess, trying to make sure.
Truck arms may be bent.
Yeah, right. That's what they're checking on, I guess.
350 miles complete. 150 to go in the UAW GM Quality 500. Jamie McMurray is the race leader. Watching NASCAR on NBC.
Welcome back to the Lowe's Motor Speedway. 237 laps on the board. Jamie McMurray leading. We are under caution because of a wreck involving several race cars. Todd Bodine is back from the Infield Care Center. Many people are placing the blame squarely on your shoulders, Todd. What was your standpoint of what happened?
Yeah, I figured I'd get blamed. I'm usually a scapegoat. It was my fault, obviously. I was on the grass. We come off of 4. Ward and Jeff slowed up. I don't know why, if Ward was going to push into Jeff or what was going on. I had such a run going, I was either going to run in the back of Ward or turn underneath him. There was no way I was going to slow down. I didn't want to do it. I mean, I had no choice. And, I hate it for everybody involved. I hate it for Discover Card Ford and the guys. We had a good race car. The set of tires right before this set wasn't that good, and we backed up a little bit, but we had a good race car. And, I know I'm going to get the blame. I think it's one of those racing deals, and I don't think anybody else is going to see it that way.
At 165 miles an hour, how cognizant are you of that grass down there knowing that it's wet?
Well, I know it's wet. I got pushed down there once already today before that. And, it's slick. It's there. And you don't want to run through it. It's obviously not as good as asphalt. But I had no choice. When they jacked up and slowed up, I had to go around them. I was going to run in the back of Ward if I didn't.
All right, his car is severely damaged, sits in the garage, but Todd has come from the infield care center, and he is fine.
10 cars involved in the wreck. And the attrition list grows quickly. And that's a very not happy young man.
Very, very sad young man. Upset.
Pit road has been closed all of this time because of all the debris and the things that were at pit exit where all the cars came to rest. Now pit road is open this time. Let's see who comes in.
Well, that's a good question.
I think if I'd been out there running through all that debris for a couple laps, I'd be pitting for fresh tires.
Yeah, you certainly, but so far no takers. So far, no takers.
That would be why I would not be a NASCAR Winston Cup crew chief.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
That's some of the guys toward the back are.
Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett. Junior's coming down pit road.
And some of the guys who just got their lap back coming to that caution, like Ryan Newman and Dave Blaney. Stops with 95 laps to go. Mark Martin, second in the championship standings. Ian.
Right sides are on.
It looks like they got the extra guy for the windshield.
Mark has not led a lap yet today, so he's down 5 bonus points to Jimmy Johnson. Bill?
And they do have the extra man if you need it to clean the windshield. Junior came in because his car is so loose, got 4 tires and fuel. On the previous pit stop, Junior slid through his stall, had to back up into position, and then they did the stop. That cost him a number of positions on the track. So coming in here to try and tighten up a car that is just bad loose may not hurt them. So remember this stop as this race rolls along. Junior stopping out of sequence for fuel, tires, and to tighten it up.
Yeah, that problem, Bill, dropped him from 4th to 14th when he slid through the pit. So finishing up the cleanup from this large crash, 10 cars that has slowed down the UAW GM Quality 500. See all those fans out there? They built this city for racing. Wrangler presents 5-star finishes here at Charlotte. 27 car in the World 600, 1980, driven by none other than BP. One of the most exciting races I've ever seen. He and Darrell Waltrip traded the lead, what, about 15 times in the last 100 miles?
At least. Hey, I didn't get to see this, check the checkered flag. What happened?
The film archives weren't as extensive in 1980 as they are now.
I have never seen myself take the checkered flag that day.
You saw it firsthand. Or did you have your eyes closed?
Well, I probably had my eyes closed, yeah.
For more on Wrangler 5-star finishes, log on to NASCAR.com. I was in the grandstands for that race. It was thrilling. Took about 7.5 hours to run with rain delays and all the rest.
Sounds like today. Okay.
On board with, now listen to Todd Bodine when he sees those cars. This is down the backstretch. And on the outside is John Andretti and Ward Burton. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. right in front of him. And listen when he comes on 4, when he sees those cars, how he backs off the gas. That's what he was talking about when he ran across those guys. What he didn't realize was he had all that room to the outside of him. He didn't have to run down on the grass.
Yeah. Coming to the green flag, Dave.
Lee McCall is the crew chief for leader Jamie McMurray. You did a lot during that caution. You kept him loose. You instructed him on his driving line. You even talked about the 18 car going over and check his tires. What was most important for Jamie at this point?
Well, right now, Jamie, the most important thing he can do is, try to stay up front and keep those guys behind him. But he's done a great job today and did everything we've asked him to do plus more. We've got a great race car. I've had great pit stops, so hopefully we can keep that thing up top 5 today.
And Glover started his rain dance behind us?
Yeah, I actually felt a couple of drops a while ago.
Yeah, right. They hope.
Well, the kid did okay restarting the race.
And by the way, that was Jeff Green on the outside of Ward Burton. I keep getting him and Andretti mixed up today.
Jamie McMurray leads in the 40 car. Bobby Labonte is second. The green 18 on the outside lane. Cars down on the inside are all a lap or more down.
And they're about 3 wide going in the backstretch. So far, they made it.
Oh, man. Elliott Sadler's got to have a problem there.
Flat tire, maybe?
He's got something wrong with it. I don't know how those guys all missed him.
Tires, right side, guys. Right side tires, right side.
That's Pat Trice and Elliott Sadler's crew chief. Let's mention that Kevin Harvick, I don't know if anybody keeps track of these things on a continuing basis, but Kevin Harvick pitted 9 times during that caution. Almost sounds like it'd have to be some sort of record during one yellow flag, huh?
Well, with all the air we saw under that 29 car, he probably could have hit it a few more times if his caution flag if it stayed caution for a while.
Some of the dust, the oil dry, those guys are kicking up down in turn 1.
Dave, what kind of work they do on the 29 car?
Just about everything you can imagine to try to make that car drivable. The motor sounded a little bit off too, so I don't know if it's going to last the entire race, but Kevin, the surviving member of the Childress team, they repaired everything they could body-wise, and then they went to check the toe in because the car wasn't tracking quite correctly after that wreck.
Kept him on the lead lap. 17th place for Harvick, last on the lead lap. Jamie McMurray leads. Bobby Labonte is second. Matt Kenseth third. Tony Stewart up to fourth, and Rusty Wallace is fifth. And you've got Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Michael Waltrip, and Jimmy Johnson rounding out your top 10. Then the guys who made the pit stops under this caution, headed by Dale Jr., who runs 11th.
On board with Jimmy Johnson, the Lowe's car, as he tries to work his way back to the front. He and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jr.'s teammate Michael Waltrip.
They're trying to take a 9th spot away from the 15 car Michael Waltrip here, GP.
14 car Mike Wallace. He's a lap down, 20th position.
They got Michael pinned on the outside. He's going to try to get down right now.
Kurt Busch led 46 laps earlier today. He's right in the thick of this, Matt.
Alan, after that wreck, Kurt Busch is riding directly behind the 24, Jeff Gordon. A piece of sheet metal came out from under Gordon's car. Kurt hit it. He was concerned under that caution that might have caused a flat tire. So between the spotters, they had the 15 car, Michael Waltrip, pull up and check out Kurt's tires. They look good to him. Fingers crossed. They seem to be okay now.
What happened to Junior down in turns 1 and 2? They make contact?
Yeah, it looked like that Junior got right on the back of the 48 car, got the 48 a little bit loose, and it looked like Junior had to check up. Michael may have got the back of Dale Jr.
So that kicks Junior back to 12th spot and allows Ryan Newman to get by him.
And Mike Wallace backs off, cuts Junior break. Let's get down to the bottom of the racetrack.
88 and 6. Jarrett and Martin, 13th and 14th. 77 of Dave Blaney, 15th. All racing for a spot.
Close. Well, that was very, very close.
Yeah. Took the air off his spoiler, and then he hit him.
That's right.
Yeah. The Mark's on 4 fresh tires.
Nice save for Blaney there. Wasn't all that long ago, Jimmy Johnson was in a lot of trouble. Lap 190, he pitted, had a loose left rear tire that was vibrating. Race stayed green till he got back in cycle with the leaders as far as pit schedule is concerned, and now he's trying to push his way back toward the front.
Here's that deal just a moment ago between Mark Martin and the 6 car, the 77 of Dave Blaney. As he come off turn 2, there's the contact, and Blaney chases the car up the hill and luckily saves the car.
He's been sideways a lot, so he knows how to save that.
Sprint car background.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. DEI teammates, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. having a pretty good race for a spot. This is for 11th and 12th. I'll tell you what, Jr. on the fresher tires than these guys he's trying to pass had not made any progress.
Traffic has not been good to Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, and Ryan Newman. They talk about the young guns of NASCAR. Here's 3 of the guys they're talking about. Bill, what are they saying in the Jimmy Johnson pit now?
Well, the one thing they're really concerned about, Benny, is that right rear tire that was loose didn't do any damage. So Chad Knaus has told his driver to keep an eye on that, or actually just feel for any additional vibration. You know, Chad and Jimmy thought they had found a good luck charm. Believe it or not, they thought it was Matt Yoakum. Yoakum was in Johnson's pit for his only Busch win and for his 3 Winston Cup wins. So after that, when they found out Matt wasn't going to have their pit, they put up a picture of him. Well, they were doing okay till Dave Burns drew on the picture. Then they had trouble, but they left that race with the point lead. So ever since then, when Yoakum didn't have their pit, Chad Knaus wore Matt's NASCAR hard car. Well, about 20 minutes ago, Chad climbed off the wagon, unbuttoned his shirt, took off this hard cart and said, "You can give it back to Yoakum. He's not the good luck person we thought he was." And there's 17 going behind the wall.
Yeah, no luck for Matt Kenseth. Bill just turned the car into the garage, slowed down the backstretch.
Blown engine, Alan, blown engine.
Wow. Matt was 6th in the championship standings coming into the race, just 201 points behind leader Tony Stewart. That's going to hurt.
And Kurt Busch just can't seem to find the speed that he had earlier on. As the day is wearing on, as it's getting cooler, obviously his car is not adapting well to the change in temperature.
And you could see at, what are we at, 6:37 Eastern time, you see the flashes across these paint jobs of the cars. The lights are on here at this racetrack. This thing's going to end as the sun goes down.
On board Tony Stewart in the Home Depot car, and there we see Matt Kenseth as he goes down the backstretch. Engine expiring. If you're going to blow one up on the straightaway, it's the place to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Not when you go into the corner, backing off to get in the corner.
Tony Stewart is running 3rd now, 3.09 seconds behind leader Jamie McMurray. Tony led 16 laps at the very top of the race, but has not been back out in front since. And we check the championship standings as they race now. Stewart's running 3rd. Johnson is 7th. Martin is 13th. And Newman is 8th.
Well, Junior's still trying his best to get by his teammate, Michael Waltrip. Meanwhile, let's go down to your Marty Snyder's report from Matt Kenseth.
Well, I found him in the garage. Boy, when you look back at the end of this season, this one's going to be hard to swallow. Did it give any indication? Seemed very sudden.
It always gives an indication about 3 seconds before it goes. So there's nothing we can do. But I'm real proud of my DeWalt guys. You know, it's too bad we lost a lot of points today. We're probably beyond the championship thing. But we've had a great year. We still got 4 races left. We're going to try to win them. And, you know, Roush has done a great job in the motor program this year. They did a lot of work this winter to get more competitive power to put us in position to win these races. And this is the first one we lost in a race all year, so I don't have much to complain about.
We talked about before the race how critical of a race this was for them to stay in the race for the championship. They may have lost any effort, any hope they have of winning the title this year today.
Boy, Junior and Michael just having a terrific fight for this spot. Unfortunately for them, it's for 10th and 11th.
Okay, Junior finally gets by Michael Waltrip and had to do it on the high side. Did not want to, I don't think, but had no choice. And he says to Michael, "Thanks, buddy."
But still having fun.
Oh, yeah. By the way, 11, 16 lap difference in their tires. And when I talked about that Junior had the fresher tires but wasn't going anywhere, 16 laps difference. Earnhardt Jr., last week's winner. Who'll be this week's winner?
Dave Burns.
Well, BP, Jamie McMurray is in the lead in only his 2nd NASCAR Winston Cup race. And he wasn't showing his hand earlier with this car. That's because he didn't have a hand to show. He wasn't driving the car as hard as his team knows that he could. His crew chief, Lee McCall, team manager, Tony Glover, even his spotter, Lauren Renier, watched his line and told him, "Jamie, you can drive the car deeper into the corner." Jamie responded that he didn't want to make a mistake, and they told him, "You can do it." So Jamie, for the first time today, is showing what this 40 car really has. It has the lead. It may not give it up.
You know, guys, I was talking to Andy Graves, the team manager for Canassie Racing this morning, and I asked him about Jamie McMurray. And, you know, I could not believe it. He said, "This kid is terrific." we're getting great feedback. He knows what he wants in the race car, and he's able to tell us what the race car is doing. And here he is. It looks like Andy Graves is right on.
Yeah, he's running a good line. He's running great lap times. Pretty smooth.
And in only his second NASCAR Winston Cup start, if he should win, and we've still got a ways to go, a little over 100 miles. Remember who has won the earliest in their Winston Cup career? It's not been all that long ago.
I guess it's the 29 car that just passed Kevin Harvick.
Yeah. I guess I gave it away when I used that time when he was passing him to bring it up, huh? Remember Kevin Harvick in those very dark circumstances after Dale Earnhardt passed away, stepping into that car and winning in his third time out down in Atlanta.
Junior trying his best to get by Kurt Busch. Battle for the 9th position.
Yeah, Kurt has just lost the handle on that thing, Benny. I wonder if it has to do with the track temperature. I'm sure it's a lot cooler than when we started.
Well, Matt Yoakum gave us a track temperature just before the race started. Maybe we'll get him to give us another one and we can compare.
You think he would?
Nah, probably wouldn't.
Only if we ask nice. We'll say please.
How about it, Matty?
Oh, he's got to get the gun out.
Oh, he should be ready. He heard us talking about it.
You know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
But Kurt Busch seems like he just can't keep the car on the bottom. See, in the middle of the corner, up the racetrack it goes. Marty, what's going on with the 24?
Well, he just radioed to his team, and you saw everybody drop their head. He thinks he might have an engine going bad. He said it's picked up a different sound. It could be the tailpipes. Jay Wiles has talked to his crew chief, Robbie Loomis. Jay Wiles is the engine tuner for Jeff Gordon. They think it might be something wrong with the tailpipes maybe, but Jeff said he's noticed a little bit of a loss of power, but it has definitely changed the pitch of the noise that he hears inside the car.
And sometimes a header can crack, and it will change the noise in the car, and you will lose a little power if the things do crack.
It hasn't changed his lap speeds any, though. He's still staying up where he was last several laps around, so.
And we see no smoke coming from the car.
We'll just keep an eye on it and follow it along. He's trying to catch Jeff Burton for 5th place there. Okay, Matt, I knew if I asked nice, you'd come up with the info for us.
Alan, do you have a number 2 pencil?
No, but I got a pen. It'll do.
If you have a Sharpie, 76.8 degrees.
Okay.
And it was about 77 when we started?
Benny, it was 77.7 degrees. And he dropped the green flag.
You don't get it any more consistent than that.
That's why
we'll never see that again.
That's why we go to Matt for that information. We know he'll get us the details right down to the fine points.
So, temperature change is not what has caused the 97 car
that's for sure
to lose the handle.
Remember this race 1 year ago. Sterling Marlin ran away from Tony Stewart in the final laps to pick up the victory. Jamie McMurray driving the same car that Marlin powered his way to the winner's circle 1 year ago.
And don't you know Sterling? I had forgotten about poor Sterling, poor old Sterling sitting at his home back in Tennessee. Don't you know he's sick about right now?
First time winners this season. The 2 super rookies plus Kurt Busch. I saw Sterling here earlier this weekend. Matter of fact, Friday night, Felix Sabates, one of the co-owners of this team, has once again purchased an interest in the local minor league hockey team, the Charlotte Checkers, and Sterling was down doing something between periods and dropping the ceremonial first puck and all that kind of thing.
Uh-oh, the teammate to the 40 car is slow. Jimmy Spencer.
See, all the lights are lit up.
Yeah.
Which means it's not running.
Drive line, I put in gear and it won't even, it all doesn't slide to the tires. Temple.
Shut them off. Take it to the garage.
Gauges look okay? This is all normal, 190 and 210. Water temperature is 190 and the oil is 210. That's, I don't know what happened to it, it just stuff broke, you know. I'll pull drain and look at it.
That was Ken Schrader's car that Spencer went by. Schrader's going to the garage. Dave?
As I'm listening to the same radio transmission you are on, Jimmy Spencer, it just quit running. And of course, this presents the same scenario that we're seeing with the Hendricks cars having problems. The 36 car of Kenny Schrader, which is a Hendrick customer for the motors, just blew up. Now the 41 car teammate to the leader, Jamie McMurray, with motor problems. Could they have the same issue? Of course, don't get confused, they're not Hendrick motors, but these two Dodge cars are obviously having motors from the same shop. And Jimmy Spencer is no longer in this event.
Dave, Schrader drove the 36 car into the garage area. I don't know. He might have an engine problem, but in fact, he drove it in.
Well, we'll get a follow-up on that. Meantime, 5th place has changed hands. Jeff Gordon has passed Jeff Burton. Dave?
Well, yeah, just wanted to respond to BP there. They did say to me in the 36 pit that it was a motor issue, but like you, I see the 36 car under power now, too, going through the garage area, so we'll do a little further follow-up.
I feel a road trip for Dave coming on.
Yeah.
Pit road back into the garage.
Dave's going to explore the garage area.
All right, so Jeff Gordon up to 5th. And we are down inside the final 100 miles. 60 laps to go. Expecting some pit stops shortly. In fact, the 2nd place car is in now. Here's Bobby Labonte, Matt.
And Alan, this is a little bit unscheduled. All of a sudden, the crew guys jumped up on the wall, and Bobby Labonte says, I think I've got a left front tire going down. Now remember, earlier in the race, we told you that Bobby didn't feel comfortable on a set of tires. Sure enough, the right front had been cut by almost an inch. It was losing air pressure. He caught a lucky caution. This time, though, not so lucky. Mark Armstrong hits the lugs on the left front, and he's down.
And I believe the left front tire was flat. Sure looked like it, didn't it, Wally?
I agree, Ben. It did look low.
But he might have caught a break because I think he can make it the rest of the way without stopping again.
Oh, yeah.
Matt?
Well, Mark Martin came on the radio a few laps ago and says, I think I'm now down on 7 cylinders. Now, this may go along with the 97 of Kurt Busch because he came on the radio a few laps ago and said that the right valence must be up or the motor is laboring. They feel like they might have a problem on the 97 as well.
It sure looks like it because he just got passed by the 14 car of Mike Wallace. It looks like he's really down on power, obviously.
Yeah, left him on the straightaway. Let's mention, Benny, you said Bobby Labonte should be able to make it to the finish on fuel. That should be no problem. He was about 20 laps early on his pit stop, though, so he needs the thing to stay green for another 20 laps.
Until all the other cars pit.
Yep. And then he'll be back in the middle of things.
Marty?
Well, it is a terminal problem for Ken Schrader, and let's talk to Jeff Andrews. Randy Dorton is not here. Jeff, what's going on? The 25 lost an engine, now the 36.
I'm not sure, Marty. We've got some problems here, possibly bottom end wise in both motors. This particular one here dropped a cylinder burst, and the one in the 25 was just something all of a sudden. So not anything related to last weekend. We just got some other problems going on here.
There is some concern about the 24 car. He said he noticed a different pitch in the engine. Is that, you know anything about that?
Yeah, about 80 laps ago, we noticed on a stop that the motor kind of had a different tone. I believe they got a tailpipe problem with that car.
All right, so that could be the problem for Jeff Gordon, but this is 2 of the Hendrick engines that are now done for the day.
So Ken Schrader's out of the race. Jimmy Spencer's gone to the garage. Matt Kenseth is out. Todd Bodine, Robbie Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Joe Nemechek, Hermie Sadler, Stacy Compton, Jason Hutleski. A lot of attrition today.
Okay, Matt, did he have a flat tire?
Benny, the right front had a cut on Bobby Labonte's Pontiac. The one thing about Labonte, yes, he is running back in the 16th position. Mark Cronquist told me they were about 7 or 8 laps shy when they were going to make their scheduled stop, but they are in their window. They should be able to make it on this tank of fuel.
And we can see Bobby Labonte with these 4 fresh tires is very, very fast. As a matter of fact, if the 40 car waits until he gets into his window, Labonte's probably going to be several seconds in front of him. Will he have enough time to chase him down? That's if the caution flag should come out before McMurray has to make that pit stop.
Let's mentioned Jimmy Spencer's car is retired for the race, engine failure. Getting a report the 6 might be pushing some fluid out. So we'll keep an eye on that. Meantime, Bobby Labonte's flying on those fresh tires, like you said a second ago, BP.
Yeah. Never see Mark Martin. Now we don't see any fluid in the car.
How about this? If you're the 40 car, if you're Lee McCall or Tony Glover, Jamie McMurray's pit bosses, do you think about pitting early, knowing the 18 car was the one you were racing for the win and he's got fresh tires and he's making time up on you? Do you short pit here, knowing you can go to the finish on fuel?
That has to be a consideration. But if the caution flag comes out, the 18 cars are lapped down to you. So he's virtually eliminated.
Some tough decisions today.
Very tough decision.
Still catching some radio traffic back and forth.
We're coming. Next time by, 4 tires.
Okay, Glover can't stand it anymore. He said, next time by, we're coming in. Going to change tires. Now.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the same thing you are. Go ahead.
Jimmy Johnson here in the 600 slid through his pit.
Yeah.
This is a pit stop that might win the race for him. Got to be careful. He can't speed down pit road and get the car in the box. Do not slide through.
3900 at the cone. 3900, second gear.
Biggest pressure pit stop this guy's made in his career.
Dave Burns, watch that yellow line.
BP, he's made 2 years worth of pit stops in the Busch Series, but now in his second Winston Cup race, he pits as the leader. This fuel will take him to the end. The extra man over the wall, giving him a clear windscreen. 4 tires for this crew, who has taken Sterling Marlin to 2 wins this year. They performed their work at a good pace. Jamie, moving the tires just a little bit before the last lugs went on the rear tires, but Jamie's off of pit road.
Pretty good pit stop, and he made that stop perfect. Stop in his box perfectly.
Just got to get off the rest of pit road without speeding, and it looks like he's done that and cleared himself away. There's Tony Stewart, now the race leader. Rusty Wallace is second. Meantime, watching the relative positions of McMurray and Bobby Labonte to see how they come up on the racetrack. We'll check on that in a minute.
I would guess the Labonte's going to be several car lengths in front of him.
No, he's behind him.
Is he really? Wow. Man, that is awesome.
Michael Waltrip in for a final pit stop as we watch Tony Stewart, the leader, and see how long he pushes it before he peels off and comes in. Stewart, the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader, 72 points ahead of Mark Martin at the start of the day. Led the first 16 laps of the race, didn't lead again until just now when Jamie McMurray went to pit road. How about the 40 and the 18? How'd they come off pit road?
Well, it looks like the 18 is catching them.
And I'm surprised the 40 car made a pit stop later than the 18, but in fact, he's still in front. There he is. But you're right, 18 is coming fast.
If there's no caution flag, this will be the race for the lead. Meantime, the green flag stops continue for the other leaders, Marty.
Back on lap 223, we told you Jeff Gordon said the track was coming to him. That is still the case. Concerning the engine problem, not a word since that first mention by Jeff Gordon. A little bit loose. They had a pound to the right front tire for Jeff Gordon. Very happy with the car. He was running fourth when he came down pit road.
Bobby Labonte taking a look. Taking the high side, BP.
Oh!
Okay, so you're in your second ever NASCAR Winston Cup race, and you're in a fight for the victory with the Winston Cup champion of 2 years ago.
Yeah, the guy that gets around this place really good.
Yes. I talked about Bobby Labonte, 7 top 5s in his last 10 Charlotte races. 1 win, 4 seconds, 1 third, 1 fifth.
Bobby's going to try to get on the outside. Here comes Tony Stewart, the championship points leader on pit road. Bill Weber.
And Benny Holm make the long drive down pit road. Just a few laps ago, he said the car is coming around, believe it or not. This is the best the car has been all day. Cipodelli asked him, is there anything we can do to make it better? He goes, whatever you do, don't do very much. So Stewart is happy with it. He said there is no oil on the track. That's why they were leaving him out there for these extra laps, because they were concerned the caution was going to come out. But he said, there's no oil out here. Cipodelli said, come on in. It's 4 tires working on the left side, waiting on the left rear. Now he's down. He's on his way. We'll see what happens.
While you were watching the Tony Stewart pit stop,
we were watching something else.
Jamie McMurray made a mistake in turn 2, drove in a little deep. Bobby Labonte tried to pounce. He couldn't get it done. Those two have bypassed Tony Stewart. By a bunch. Ryan Newman's in.
Matt?
He had been running in the 5th position. They're going to make 1 round down in the left rear, 4 tires, and also they're going to put some more tape. 2 big pieces on the grill. The car was tight. He's felt insecure really all day on entry. They're trying to adjust that as well. Dave?
Rusty Wallace in for his final stop, Matt. The car just a little bit loose right now. They're going to put a little more air pressure in the left rear tire. 4 to change, and 2 cans of fuel for Rusty, and getting him back off of pit road. He finally got the windshield screen removed last time. It's still good this time, Bill.
And this is pretty routine when you're a rookie racing for the Winston Cup champion. It's a drink, a tear off from the windshield, 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel. You watch Shane Martin out with the and there's Jimmy Johnson on his way.
And there goes Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. by. Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, Junior's not stopped yet. Jeff Burton is the leader. Jarrett is not stopped yet. There's the leader, Jeff Burton, 99. Did I say Gordon before?
I'm not paying attention to you. I don't know what you said.
If I did, I'm mistaken, but that's the guy that's out front.
The leader is still leading.
Yeah, thank you.
And right behind them comes, and here he comes off pit road, off the racetrack, onto pit road.
Jarrett Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, Dave Blaney have not stopped yet. Now that Jeff Burton has come in. And we go to Dave Burns.
Jeff Burton has given up the lead. His car was a little bit tight on this last run. The only change they're going to make for that is an air pressure adjustment to try to correct it and make it good for the final run. This will be the last amount of fuel, the last set of tires that Jeff will probably need today if we stay green. He picks the revs up on the motor and screams off pit road.
Kurt Busch is in, Matt.
And they're going to make an air pressure adjustment, Alan. They're going to take air out of the right front and put air in the right rear. He needs to free the 97 car up. They came 1 lap early. Service complete for Busch.
All right, that puts us Dale Jarrett in the lead. Earnhardt Jr. second, Mark Martin third, then the McMurray-Bobby Labonte duel that continues as they run just a couple of car lengths apart. Here's your leader, Dale Jarrett. Here he goes.
Labonte tries to go on the inside. The 11th car is there. That's what got the Jamie McMurray car bogged down off turn 2, which allowed Labonte on the inside. McMurray would not give it up. And I've been asked the question, Walt, in the last month or so several times, why Jamie McMurray? I think the question is answered now. Bill?
Junior's on pit road. He's getting 4 tires and just enough fuel to get to the end. I'm really surprised some of these guys not in the championship chase didn't try taking 2. But so far, no takers.
So Junior's out. That leaves Jarrett and Martin as the 2 who've not stopped in this cycle.
Here comes Jarrett. Well, I thought he was going to make a pit stop. Yes, he is. Now, can Mark Martin lead a lap?
Well, let's try 2. We don't have anything to lose here.
There you go.
2 tires, guys. 1 can. 2 tires, 1 can.
Bill, coming down to you. 2 tires, 1 can.
Okay, well, let's watch. I'm really surprised some of the other guys didn't try that. That conversation was between Todd Parrott and Dale Jarrett. Todd said 4 tires or 2, and DJ said, oh, 2 tires, we got nothing to lose. So they're waiting on fuel, drop the jack, and get going. Let's see what happens here.
And you see 8.6, so he saved about 5 or 6 seconds over some of the competition.
NBC is live at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. A 3-hour rain delay before the start of today's race. American Dreams will come on tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, here on NBC. If you're tuning in for Dateline, you're seeing NASCAR live in the final laps of the UAW GM Quality 500. There's the race leader, Mark Martin, Batesville, Arkansas, in the 6 car. He is second in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. He still has to make a final pit stop, though. And there are the drivers who will become the leaders right behind him. Now, we talked about earlier Jamie McMurray making a little mistake in 1 and 2, approaching some lap traffic, and Bobby Labonte getting a shot at him. Here it is.
I guess that's the 43 car, the 30 car. I really can't tell them apart. In fact, the 43.
That's
Labonte gets up on the outside, and they go through the corner. McMurray on the inside, Labonte on the outside.
How about that, huh? Bobby hasn't given up, but obviously Jamie's car is getting through the corners just a little bit better because Bobby he can only get to him when McMurray slows up in lap traffic. They're pretty equal otherwise, is what it appears to me.
And McMurray is keeping that car right on the bottom of the track.
What a story this could be.
Oh, wow.
A 26-year-old driver making only his second NASCAR Winston Cup start. Can he pull off the upset special of the weekend?
And he's only making the start because the primary driver, Sterling Marlin, is injured.
30 laps to go. Back for what should be some final dramatic moments in this race as we take our final commercial break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC tonight, 8/7 Central, American Dreams. What was supposed to be a noontime start for NASCAR on NBC has turned into a primetime finish. You're watching from Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, as Jamie McMurray, a 26-year-old rookie from Joplin, Missouri, tries to pick up his first NASCAR Winston Cup win in only his second start. Driving the car that Sterling Marlin used to lead the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship for most of the season. Marlin, the Nashville, Tennessee area veteran, injured in a hard crash at Kansas a couple of weeks ago, discovered to have a broken bone in his neck, out for the season. McMurray, appointed to drive a 3rd car for the Chip Ganassi team next season, took over the ride to get a little head start on his rookie training, and he could wind up with a victory today.
He has been most impressive today.
He's got the pressure of having the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup champion right behind him, not only here in these final laps, but on a couple of restarts earlier.
And it's critical that he gets a good start, which he does. Leaves Labonte struggling with the lap traffic. Not once, but twice.
And therefore, we appoint the Autotrader.com move of the race, or we point the Autotrader.com move of the race thus far in the direction of Jamie McMurray. 21 laps to go. What must be going through his mind right now?
Cannot imagine. Just in his second race.
Last driver to win in his second career start, 1960.
That was a day or two ago.
I wasn't born yet.
A lot of races, a lot of miles have been run since then.
Yeah, right. I know. What was it? 1961.
All right, let's see. Tony Stewart. Fastest of the top 3 cars. How about that? 3rd, 4th, and 5th faster than 1st and 2nd. but they've got a lot of distance to make up. Tony Stewart, about 2.5 seconds.
Now they're going to run up. These leaders are on a big pack of lap traffic here over the next few laps. Could be Bobby Labonte's opportunity to pounce. Obviously, McMurray's car driving just a little bit better than Labonte's Joe Gibbs machine is, the 18 car. Will the rookie make a mistake in traffic? Can the former champion take advantage? Easily through the first car, the 43 of John Andretti.
And everybody looks like they're laying over, so it doesn't look like they'll have too much trouble.
Going by some cars damaged in the big 10-car accident we had at lap 231. Bobby Hamilton and Ward Burton, 55 and 22, involved in that big melee.
Well, that time Labonte gained a quarter of a second by working the traffic a little bit better. Now they've got clean racetrack for the next couple of laps. But Tony Stewart is coming. He's only a 2 3/4 behind the leader, only a 1.5 seconds behind the second place car. There comes Tony Stewart.
Well, he is coming.
He's the fastest one on the racetrack right now, isn't he?
Yep.
Stewart in the orange Home Depot car, the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader, coming into the race, took over the point lead at Talladega last Sunday. Out in front of the championship for the first time in his career. 6 races to go, including today's. And it doesn't look like the standings, unless something happens in these final miles, are going to take a very big shuffle.
No, Tony's just going to add to his lead.
But most of the guys that are close behind him are running fairly well in the race. Jeff Gordon is 4th, Rusty Wallace is 5th, Jimmy Johnson is 6th. Even Ryan Newman recovered from his early problems to run 8th, so not going to be much of a difference from today on to Martinsville next week if things stay as they are for these final 16 laps.
That's the way Tony would like to see it.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, nice little wiggle there for the 40 car.
Last time by Tony Stewart, is 2 1/4 behind the leader.
NASCAR on NBC with some NASCAR short track racing for you.
Breathe and relax. Everything's fine.
The Old Dominion 500 from Martinsville, Virginia, next Sunday, noon Eastern Time. Here's 4th place.
Jeff Gordon goes by Rusty Wallace. Dave, you got a pretty happy man down there, don't you?
Well, not yet, BP, but Chip, regardless of how this turns out, does this help answer the question so many people are asking, why Jamie McMurray?
I hope so, Dave. You know, the guy's out there doing a great job. He did a great job in the Busch Series. He's obviously worthy of a Winston Cup ride.
What was the main thing you saw in him, Chip?
Well, you know, Dave, it's one thing and one thing only. You know, all these guys today are fast, and he's got kid's got great communication skills, but most of all, he's got a good heart.
And that may be what I saw the first time I met Jamie at a racetrack in a Craftsman Truck Series. He was running for a modestly funded team, and he gave that team their best qualifying performance ever, and they said, we've got a kid here. I didn't believe him then. I really believe him now.
Getting closer.
Getting closer. Both Joe Gibbs cars getting closer and closer to Jamie McMurray.
Bobby Labonte trying to pick up his 2nd win of the season. He won at Martinsville, Virginia back in mid-April. Tony Stewart looking for his 4th victory of the season to go with wins at Atlanta, Richmond, and on the road course at Watkins Glen. Time's running out. It's going to have to be a mistake in traffic for Labonte. I mean, it just looks like McMurray's car is strong enough to hold him off if he doesn't make a mistake in the traffic.
But now he's starting to run across some faster race cars. Mike Wallace, the 14 car in front of him.
Wallace up high, giving the leaders room. How about speeds at the line?
Wow, look at that. That time, McMurray was faster than Bobby Labonte, a great deal faster. Bill?
Benny, I was just thinking, you know, we started today with the Discover Car Countdown to Green talking about cookie cutter tracks, how some tracks look a lot like another. Well, the Atlanta Motor Speedway is very similar to the Lowe's Motor Speedway, and you all know about some of those fantastic finishes we've seen in recent years at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Photo finishes, the victor decided by a matter of inches, and basically what you saw in those races at Atlanta was a guy roping in the leader down the stretch for the photo finish. So sometimes when tracks are similar, you get very similar finishes, and this is certainly setting up for something like that today. Perhaps a photo here at Lowe's.
I'll tell you what, Bill, the news slipped a little bit if that's what Bobby Labonte was doing, or the lasso, because the last couple of laps, McMurray has blistered this racetrack and opened up a little gap on Bobby.
And that's got to help his confidence so much to look in the mirror and see that he's getting away from the 18 car. It was 1/3 of a second. Now it's 2/3 of a second.
Tony Stewart's cavalry charge toward the front has leveled out some. He's sort of evened out at 1.5 seconds behind these top two.
Eight to go, Jamie. 8 to go.
Wow. Wow, this is unbelievable.
Earlier we talked with Jamie McMurray about his ability to get in a winning race car and take it to victory lane. Here's what he told us.
Obviously the team can win a race. They've already won 2 this year, and you know, I can't really, I don't want to sound cocky by saying that we can, but if I didn't think I could, I wouldn't be in this car right now. I mean, if I didn't feel like I was capable of winning races, I wouldn't be a race car driver, and that's a huge part of it, is having that confidence, and I have the confidence in myself, and most definitely have a race team that's capable of winning races.
Boy, oh boy, they're babies anymore, aren't they, Wally?
Picture this.
He's not driving like one.
Here's a 26-year-old kid that nobody's ever heard of in the broad landscape of American sports until a week ago. And now he's about to step up, if he can hold on for another 5 or 6 more laps, and firmly establish himself atop the headlines in the biggest American motorsports series.
I wonder what the headlines are going to be in Joplin, Missouri tomorrow if this kid can pull it off. His hometown.
He's really used his head tonight.
Coming to 5 laps to go. Win, lose, or draw for Bobby Labonte. It's been an outstanding day for a team that has struggled at times during this season. Their footprint to get themselves back established as a title contender in 2003, certainly off in the right direction. For Tony Stewart behind them, the championship going in the direction he wants it to today. There'll be 5 races to go after today. Stewart will have won at 4 of those 5 remaining tracks in his brief Winston Cup career.
All right, 5 to go, and they've got some fast race cars in front of them. Looks like Dale Jarrett, Jerry Nadeau. And they're going to have a battle going on for the 13th, 14th position, so they're not going to want to get out their way as fast as some of these guys are on lap down.
Yeah, they're not just going to lay over like we saw some of those other guys that were wounded in the crash.
Labonte is closed in. He was 2/3 of a second back. It's less than 1/3 of a second now.
And this is going to be it. The 88 is going to be tough to get around.
Uh-oh, Jamie.
So they do.
He went in the corner a little bit too high, which let Labonte gain right on the back bumper.
3 laps to go. Over 100,000 on hand here in Charlotte today, all on their feet, trying to see how the drama of the final laps plays out. Those cars down at the bottom of the racetrack, the blue car and the brown and white car, racing for a position. They can't just get out of the way.
But DJ gives the 40 car the bottom of the racetrack the groove that he needs to bring this thing around to the victory lane.
Through the Jarrett car to the outside of Mike Skinner. 2 laps to go. Nadeau in the 44 is ahead as Labonte tries to close in and steal the win away from the kid. They'll get the white flag when they come back. Will McMurray make one mistake in traffic that costs him the race? Can the 2000 champion pounce and take advantage? 1.5 miles to go. White flag is up at Charlotte. Jamie McMurray trying to pull off the upset.
And Jerry Nadeau was a class act that time. He got out of the way. Let McMurray and Bobby Labonte decide this thing among themselves.
One final set of corners to go. No lap traffic to come into play. Labonte's going to have to make a desperate move here. He rides into the corner deep.
Come on, the race ain't over. Come on, come on.
He'll do it. 26-year-old Jamie McMurray pulls off the victory in just his second NASCAR Winston Cup start. Unbelievable.
I am shocked, almost beyond words, but not quite.
The upset special of the year. Any sport, bar none. The congratulatory rub from the champion, Bobby Labonte. And look at this crew.
You do me a favor, bud. Do the biggest damn burnout you've ever done, but don't jump on the roof, okay? Hello, man.
If you're new to NASCAR, the roof of the car has to be a certain height over the ground. When they take it to post-race technical inspection, if the driver gets up there and jumps on the roof, that's their problem. All right, Dave Burns.
Well, we talked to a few guys already on this team. How about Tony Glover, who was here for Ernie Irvin and also for Sterling Marlin's first win? How about this young rookie?
I'm going to tell you, he did an incredible job. My hat's off to him. Tremendous young race car driver. Drove his tail out today. Did a beautiful job. I'm glad to see Jamie get his first win in the 40, and I want to say hi to the driver of the 40, Sterling Marlin. Buddy, we miss you and appreciate you giving us this setup. This is a Sterling setup from last year, and worked good.
Those have to be mixed emotions. Tony Sterling's name is still on that car.
Oh, yeah, Sterling's still the driver of the 40, and Jamie did a nice job filling in. I'd like to thank Coors Light, all the sponsors, everybody involved. It's just, I can't tell you how much this means. This is big. This is real big.
Go celebrate.
You know,
go ahead.
You don't never know about life. God does everything for a reason, and a couple of weeks ago we thought our world come to end, but it didn't. So everything's fine.
All right, Tony, go celebrate. Let's go to Marty Snyder.
Dave, what a great day for Joe Gibbs Racing. Bobby Labonte comes home second. You know, somehow this kind of feels like a win, doesn't it, Bobby?
Well, I mean, we had a great race car all night. The guys did a great job on this Interstate Batteries Pontiac. We hadn't run that good in a long time on a big track, so it's good to run good. But Jamie's car is just just a little bit too good for us there at the end. His car is a little freer than ours was. We had a tire go down, and I don't know if I maybe should have adjusted on it a little bit more, but I didn't really have a good shot at it. Actually, I had 2 tires go down, so just one of those deals.
Good job, teammate! A very nice teammate hug from Tony Stewart. Talk about that kid who was in front of you and the moves he was making all night long. You could get to him, but you couldn't get around him, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, his little old Dodge is really fast, and that's what it takes here. And we tried a little bit of everything there, but we couldn't make it work. Our car was a little too tight there at the end, so it was a good night for us, but still wasn't a win. So we'll see what we can do next week.
All right, Dave Burns.
Marty, Jim McMurray, Jamie's dad, is in tears. He was trying to call his wife at home, but everyone else is too. The line's busy. What do you think of all this? Unbelievable, isn't it?
Waited a long time for this. I got to thank everybody that got Jamie to where he's at, because it took about 8 or 10 different people to get him here. Chip Ganassi gave him a great opportunity, and what an outfit they got. What an organization. Wait till next year.
Can you believe you raised a short track racer and now he's a Winston Cup winner?
No, I can't. There's 1 in 100,000 get an opportunity to even come here and race in a Winston Cup race, and he wins the second one he ever run. Today since he's went to Ganassi, he run 830 laps before he ever got to do a yellow flag pit stop.
Okay, the line's still busy at home. Wave to your wife and wave to her. Wave to her right here in the camera. There she is. You guys are winners. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Tony Stewart getting closer to his dream of a Winston Cup championship, finishing third. But what was the thing that you said? You used to race against Jamie McMurray in go-karts when he was how tall?
Jamie McMurray's not a tall kid to begin with, but when I first met him, we were racing WKA go-karts. He was running the rookie junior class, and I was running in the junior class. But I never dreamed I'd ever see him in trucks or Winston Cup or Busch or anything like that. But man, I'm really happy for him, and to be honest, very, very happy for the Coors Light team. I mean, we're all sad that Sterling had his injury like that, and you hate to see somebody that has worked that hard and led the points for so long get knocked down of the series for the rest of the year. But that's a good pick-me-up for that team. I've got a roommate that works on that team and a lot of good friends over there, so I'm happy for them. But I'm excited for everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, both Bobby and myself. His Home Depot car was awesome that last run. We just were so far behind it took us way too long to get caught up, and by the time I got about a second away, I burnt the tires off of it getting to him. So I wasn't points racing. That's one thing I can tell you for sure. I raced to win this thing, and I just got there and couldn't win it, so we just made sure that we brought it home. So still looking at the big picture.
Tony Stewart chasing that dream of a Winston Cup championship, Bill.
Well, he's chasing that dream, and Jamie McMurray is living his. And it's appropriate that this race ends at night here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. It was Jeff Gordon in tears with his first win at night in this victory lane. It was Bobby Labonte with his first Winston Cup win at night in this victory lane. The same for Matt Kenseth. And tonight it is the rookie Jamie McMurray in just his second NASCAR Winston Cup start. His first Winston Cup win. High fives all around. Chip Ganassi is here, and there's the leap. And I'm going to try and fight my way through here. There are a lot of happy people down here. Tony Glover, big hug. Lee McCall is here, high five. Car owner Chip Ganassi right in front of me here. Smiles all around, a big celebration. And perhaps the best hug of all. Let's lean in here. Congratulations, Chip. Great job. Jamie, welcome to Victory Lane in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series.
I don't believe it. I mean, this is
You're not the only one, pal.
Oh, I know. This is huge. This is a tough opportunity or a really hard situation with Sterling getting hurt and everything, and he's been great to me, having to sit out, but what an opportunity. Chip and Felix and Coors Light, Haviland, what an opportunity y'all gave me. Everyone asks, am I nervous? I'm freaking nervous. I promise you guys right now, I'm nervous.
Well, you said before this race you were more nervous about this race than you were at Talladega. Starting up front at Talladega in a restrictor plate race, and you were more nervous here?
This is my worst racetrack, and you wouldn't believe that.
Not anymore, huh?
No, I'll tell you what, Lauren the spotter, Lauren Rainier, and I learned a lot on my Busch team. Had a great car yesterday. We really thought that we could run the top three yesterday and broke a motor. Really unfortunate, but learned a lot about the racetrack, and holy cow, what? Go buy some Coors Light.
Are you surprised that you're here?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. When we were leading, 100 something to go, I figured we'd run about fifth. My car, they just kept making it better all day. What a race car. I tell you what, Chip and Felix have a first-class operation and gave me a great opportunity and just making the most of it.
Okay, now I need you to talk to somebody, okay? John Gelser's going to give you this headset and this radio, and you can hear me okay through there, right? Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Jamie, way to go, man.
Holy cow, can you believe this?
That's way too soon.
Oh, man, great race car.
That's Sterling Marlin, by the way, on the phone from his home in Columbia, Tennessee, I believe.
Man, Sterling, this is a great race team, and hope you get better, and I know you'll come back and probably win the championship next year.
Go great race. Got a good bunch there, so I wish I was there every week. I come on home today, I thought it was going to rain it out.
Hey, great race team, but go drink some Coors Light with us. I know you will.
Okay.
Hey, Sterling, are you surprised?
I knew Jamie was going to be a good driver for us, and, that same car we won Darlington Vegas with, and it's a really good car, and man, them guys done a great job on pit stops and setting it up, and Jamie drove one hell of a race, so I'm tickled to death for him.
He's surprised, don't let him lie to you. He's surprised because everyone in the world's surprised.
That's the guy that led the Winston Cup Championship standings for 25 weeks, saying that about you, kid.
Yeah, what a deal. I tell you what, Tony Glover, Andy Graves, Lee McCall, what a race team, and this is about them as much as it's about me. I mean, this is a great race team and just a good opportunity for me, and just Tony kept saying, relax, breathe. I don't know what he's saying. I had so much going through my head, but just really tried to stay focused those last few laps.
And you're not going to Martinsville next week, are you?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about asking him if I can go now. I told my sister and whole family back home, I said, if I run well at Charlotte, I'm going to ask him if I can go. So yeah, I'm going to ask him for sure.
That's gonna be amazing walking through that garage next Friday morning, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, talk about a dream. I talked to my girlfriend about this and raced go-karts and, Remax Challenge Series trucks, Busch, raced all that. Didn't win in trucks and Busch, and holy cow.
and just.
Bobby Labonte is here.
Good race, man.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah, I appreciate
Good job.
it.
Good job, guys. Thanks, bud.
Jamie, again, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Holy cow.
And Sterling Marlin, thank you very much. Congratulations to you on a great season, and everybody at Chip Ganassi Racing, a night they will never forget.
And just to follow up on what Bill was saying, because of his commitments to the NASCAR Busch Series car, McMurray's not supposed to be in the Winston Cup race in Martinsville next weekend. He's supposed to be in Memphis running the Busch Series car Friday and Saturday. Would you believe Jamie McMurray has won in just his second NASCAR Winston Cup start?
Like I said, I'm almost speechless, but it was incredible what a great job he did and what a great race car they had tonight.
Most all of the championship contenders finished in the top 10 today, except for Mark Martin. He wound up 16th at the checkered flag.
A lot of these cars involved in the crash. Kevin Harvick was involved in the crash here on the front straightaway.
A lot of attrition in this race. Some 10 cars involved in that crash that Benny was talking about back at lap 231. A couple of engine failures as well.
I think we're getting to the point of the season that the teams are trying a lot of different stuff, trying to get started for 2003, putting a little more horsepower in these engines than they can take.
Gap between the top two is 72 points coming into today. Tony Stewart increasing his lead now over Jimmy Johnson to 97 points, 5 races to go to settle the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. Next weekend, the NASCAR Busch Series race from Memphis, maybe or maybe not containing tonight's winner, Jamie McMurray. Next Sunday, the final Winston Cup short track race of the year presented by Old Navy on NBC, the Old Dominion 500 at noon Eastern Time. American Dreams at 8/7 Central here on NBC tonight. We'll be joining Dateline NBC next. Hope you'll stay with us for that. What a day. 3-hour delay by rain. In the end, a 2000 Series champion pressuring a kid in just his second ever NASCAR Winston Cup race, but the kid held on. Jamie McMurray with the upset special of the weekend. He's won the UAW GM Quality 500.
Sometimes I feel like